channel that energy. The moon.
Good one.
The moon.
Good start. Good one.
I wrote the cat, but there we are.
You might as well start queuing. Actually, no, wait. I shouldn't even say start queuing. We literally shouldn't talk about this at all. Game.
Dude, if you go on hot right now on the store.
What do you mean?
Is it like? What does it look like to you?
I can see Magneto, Master of Magnetism for 564 credits.
Is that the first thing on there?
No. Name was
first
there.
Thing on there?
From the movie.
My first three are Loki, and then the Thing, and then Emma Frost. This hot is character play specific recommendation.
Yeah, I like how it's recommending me to get Magneto. First of all, I would have got that if I didn't get the costume coin. By the way, 564. That's a weird number, but so are you kidding me? Of course I'm gonna get that, but I've got it already. Not the point. We're supposed to be talking about Doctor Who. We're supposed to be talking.
No more.
Aren't you excited?
Doctor Who, baby.
Okay. First of all, like I said, you might as well start. Queuing. I don't know. We need to go in. We need to zone in. No, actually, we need to zone out. We need to do the opposite of zoning in.
Exclamation marks.
We need to zone out in the game so we can just. Also, if anyone is like confused, first of all, I don't know why I was able to get Ultron like that. That was weird.
People are already bored.
Yeah, I'm not. That's fine. I'm gonna turn the game volume down even more. Okay, so obviously, spoilers for everything.
For all of Doctor Who.
All of Doctor
Every
Who.
Single
well, that's
episode.
fair. Honestly, I think it's actually less. It's much less fair to spoil old Who than it is to spoil new Who. I actually don't think
true,
there's not much reason to spoil old Who because the only people who are going to watch it, I think, are people who do care.
In it.
Oh, there is the Rani, isn't there? There's all the stuff that.
There's Barbara who appeared but then didn't.
Barbara
didn't. Well, that was in the
Susan
thingy episode.
I guess you mean.
Do I?
You do mean Susan. That's her name. Yeah, Susan. Well,
yeah.
Actually, her name.
Barbara.
Fucking hell! Everyone's
that's
Susan.
the other woman from the beginning.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So you actually, because I remember you saying Barbara a while ago, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And I guess that's what you meant.
There's two teachers. I think is the first companions, including Susan.
Oh, so that's like Clara and Danny.
And there's there's
Danny was never a
dude
companion.
who is significantly more like modern Doctor than the actual Doctor back then, and Barbara. And a woman.
And a woman. Great.
Yeah. It was not great, back then.
But this is season. I wanted to figure out what the number was as well, because obviously it's season 2, but I think it's series 15, which is awkward. That's his number. And this has happened before. I was thinking, has a doctor gone out on the number? Because obviously that's very difficult for that to happen. For obvious reasons. But it did actually for the previous one for Jodie Whittaker 13. Which by the way, if I were to jump to something ridiculous, that might be the best part of the episode.
Yeah.
Because it was good. Because it was a good part of the episode. Most of it wasn't good. That's why.
I think all of the I guess we'll call it two-parter part. Right, continuing the story that they left off was absolute garbo, right?
This is the annoying thing about it because I don't even necessarily. It's not particularly suited to oh, did you think it was good or bad, or did you think it was better or worse than the first part of this thing? First of all, RTD says finale, and that pisses me off. I've got a bone to pick with him now. I think he is actually the problem. There's a lot of reasons why, but. It is clearly the discussion is far more interesting about what the fuck's going on with the show, other than the episode, in a lot of ways. Because obviously it leaves off in quite a weird spot. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't. The actual resolution is the problem is I can't tell if it's because he's just getting worse because he's just surrounded by yes men and he's kind of just writing really shoddily. Or, which by the way I think is the case anyway, or if it was the actual action part of this is not really the point of this finale. That is sometimes the case, but at the same time, when you go through so much setup for it, I don't really believe that. Because it's a finale that's set up across the entire season pretty much. So I can't be like, oh, it was clearly like not the important thing about the finale. Clearly it was about the characters, because I don't think it is. It just does a bunch of weird retcon shit anyway to the characters. Kind of like in story retconning, which is obviously Belinda basically being terraformed into a mother by fate.
Yeah.
Which is not, I don't know, man. That stuff about RTD being like misogynistic is starting to ring more true to me than it has before. Because he basically makes everyone pregnant and their destinies become a mother. He does.
Yeah, but it's just, I find it like, I actually don't hate that as much as I think, because it was kind of weird how much she wanted to go home, right? Like there was that element to it, but if there was even the slightest of inkling, that would have been like not too terrible of an idea. Like if Poppy had come up in any way, shape, or form, other than I guess whatever the girl in the story one was.
Well, obviously, she was in Space Babies, but that's not really addressed. It's actually not too clear if it's just a different. If it is just that they just reused the little actress, the little fella. I don't think it is. I think the idea is that it is the image of Poppy was drawn from like their past. Obviously, only the Doctor's past in that case. Belinda hadn't. She wasn't in Space Babies. I don't think. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Might be wrong.
Because it's also then, but is that then to say Belinda in Boom was the same thing? Like Belinda and Poppy were kind of just like put there as hints or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean maybe, but obviously it's not.
Some weird cosmic bullshit.
As far as what's being told to us, that in Boom that's not Belinda, because obviously we do learn is descendant.
Yeah, but also
they do weird shit like
that. They were like the same bloodline or some shit like that, right? Like.
And then obviously there's a bunch of weird shit, just generally inconsistent writing. Like the Doctor scans Poppy's DNA, even though like in a previous episode, like the Doctor gets mad at someone for scanning his DNA without permission. It's like I'm just gonna scan this child's DNA. I think I can usually excuse that kind of thing though, because it's like I think he probably would if he's interested. I think doing that kind of thing is not the same as other things that you need to ask permission for, because the baby's obviously not going to ever understand. But it's also not that. It's not particularly evil to scan a baby's DNA compared to what else do to a baby without asking it. You know, it's. I'm just not.
Yeah, them limb from limb.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm just not sure I'm going to get too hung up on that kind of thing. But then there's also weird shit. There's a moment where he actually says, the Doctor actually says he is the only TARDIS in the universe. Like, R.T. Davies, are you schizophrenic? In the specials, he literally had them create 2 TARDISes with a fucking hammer.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, it's not the only one. There's actually more than I realised. I mean, the one I was aware of was obviously Clara's TARDIS. But I don't think he cares about that. It's still weird. It might have been in reference to the Wish universe version of things, maybe, but I don't see why it would necessarily be different. Yeah, I don't know. And then I do you know what? I weirdly, I should have hated it when I did. I didn't hate Omega. But there's not much to hate.
No, he's just a big corpse.
Yeah, it's just, but it was just like a weird thing. It's like, is this really a Time Lord? I don't know about this, mate.
Well, it's really odd. He's like, I'm gonna bring them into existence, and you will have see, and he's like, yeah. And then he like stands by, but then also is like reveals that he knew he was going to turn into the Mist because of where he was, or some weird shit.
Well, this is another problem / not. Well, it's one of the few things that I still think is okay. There are still always remnants of like good ideas in there, and I think like the Doctor doing that, like wanting to see Omega. I don't think that's actually out of character, necessarily, because it's like another. Obviously, he knows it's not the last of the Time Lords because. I guess every time the Master is dealt with, does the Doctor think the Doctor does think he's killed the Master every time. So as far as he's right, and that's why he thinks he's always the only Time Lord.
Well, this time it was the Toymaker that killed the Master and turned him into a tooth. so that's as far as the Doctor's aware.
Yeah, so
But,
obviously there was the Rani, but he's still curious about him, and he would be curious about Omega. Like, obviously. it's
sure,
like the
but
first Time Lord.
He's curious, but then he like reveals that he knew it would be it. It almost seems like it was all part of his plan, but it wasn't. I have a problem, and the problem is
just the
how to
one.
put it.
Just the one.
Well, it is. Why does it feel like everyone's a bad actor?
When they're not. And I know they're not. First, for a lot of reasons. Number one, Virada Sefud, who is Belinda, I know she's not, because she's in Andor and she's pretty good. And we know Gat was not, because more often than not, he was the one elevating the material.
Yeah, but like, I'm watching, like, especially this final two-parter, I'm watching it, and I'm like, these aren't real. Like they are just so, like, when Poppy comes out of the thing and everyone's just applauding and like, I'm like, this is not real. This is not real. That's why I thought they were going the route that, like, because like really when Ruby was kind of like acting odd, I'm like, oh my god, is this also still a wish? Like, is this like is this our fucking Matrix thing?
That's
like,
why I thought the episode was gonna. That's why I thought the episode was gonna be better than it was, because I thought, oh, it's like they've resolved sort of the main action-y threat, but things are still gonna go to shit in some way. It sort of reminded me of, and I think this makes sense. It reminded me of the Angels in Manhattan a bit. Certain elements,
kind of.
Until it wasn't actually. Well, Angels in Manhattan, I guess it wasn't actually a tragic ending. I always forget how it ends, because every time I watch it, I'm like, did they permanently like send Rory and Amy back in time? I still don't. I don't know why. It's
Amy
not.
and Rory just like lived together in 19 something or other. That's really all that happens.
But it feels a little bit similar to that, where it's like, oh, things have been resolved, but there's still kind of a more sinister element, and things do not really wrap up. And it still felt like that, especially. I mean, and it makes sense with the way that they were talking, because the Doctor and Belinda did think everything's fine when they're talking to Ruby, but it still felt a little bit too unserious, if you know what I mean. It's like, I think the Doctor should be taking Ruby's concerns more seriously. Still like, oh, you're being silly. It's like, is she though? I feel like you know that something could be wrong. You're not that stupid,
I think
Doctor.
the thing is though, like, I do genuinely, I don't particularly want to talk about like the first 40 minutes of the episode. Genuinely, I'm not interested in discussing.
It's more so the first 30 minutes.
And all of that.
It's the first 30 minutes. It's like literally 50-50 split. It's not a majority of it. It's like that's wrapped up very quickly. Yeah.
Basically, once,
I'm not interested
like, all
either.
That stuff had ended. Like, yeah, I couldn't give less of a crap. But from then on, it's just like, all of a sudden, it was a Doctor regeneration story. Just in all of a sudden, it's a fucking Gat was final episode, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Now, I'm having to accept that I have a problem of getting stuff spoiled for myself, and I have to accept that to help me remedy it, because I will. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's fine, I get spoiled, that's okay. No, I'm aware of it now, but I don't blame myself too much for this one, because what I saw was actually because the actual Doctor Who accounts put it out immediately, pretty much as it aired, like that scene, the regeneration scene, which is a bit fucked up. I didn't see it, but I did know he was going to regenerate. I was still thinking though, it might be open-ended. He might regenerate into himself. I was also thinking about the companion side of things. I didn't think it would be such an isolated regeneration. I still thought sort of towards the beginning, oh, it's like he's actually going to end up with both Belinda and Ruby as companions, or maybe even Anita instead, who is basically Donna if she started working for like a time hotel. It does feel like that.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. But then again, she's also pregnant for some reason. It's like, what's going on here? that was a bit. Once again, it just felt a bit unnecessary. But yeah, I knew he was going to regenerate.
Well, it kind of felt like all around. It was like it was like the end of fucking Tennant's run, right? It was like that final Dalek like two-parter where everything he had built comes together. But this was only 2 seasons worth of content, so it was just kind of like it was just everyone that he added was there, basically, right? Like, it was just kind of like fucking like the star Joy was there, and Anita was there from the other.
What about Lux?
Yeah,
Mr. Ringading. What's he?
yeah.
He's everywhere actually, so that's fine. That's fine. That works.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like so odd. It's just so odd.
But it's weird because I still don't actually think. I don't actually think the regeneration and the choices behind the regeneration are actually the. I think those would have actually been fine if the episode was good. Like, genuinely, I don't think the problem is that he regenerated necessarily. And I do have theories about the fact that a lot of people do have a feeling, and a lot of it's cope, yes, but people do still have theories and like ideas about the fact that he might not actually be gone, really, because of the nature of the regeneration.
People also, they're not actually. It doesn't say Billy Piper as the Doctor at the end. And
I was going to bring this up, and I was really hoping that you wouldn't, and you're not doing it, by the way. Don't worry. I was hoping that you wouldn't be like, oh, that's like a facetious thing to like a sort of like a over-analyzing thing to pick up on. I'm glad that you. I guess you agree that is weird. That it doesn't say she's the Doctor.
I was expecting it to. Like isn't that
because
what
it
John
does.
Hurt did?
It does
like,
confirm. Well, yeah,
like,
okay. No. This is important. I saw a post about this. It's actually very important. No. Literally every time, every Doctor has been introduced as the Doctor. Every single one. Even like the Fugitive Doctor, all of them. It says as the Doctor, and they did it in this episode too, because you have Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and introducing Billy Piper. That's it. That's what it says. Yeah. And I do think that's deliberate. At the same time, I think it also might be a Schrodinger's thing, where he'll just choose based on response what it means. Yeah. There's the idea that it's like Bad Wolf, or like, because obviously, there is an element of like Rose's face being in the TARDIS, right? That is literally from the Parting of the Way, like the first finale. That's kind of being recalled by that. And I think it could be like literally a temporary thing. Like by the literally the TARDIS forcing the Doctor to take a certain face for some reason. And that it might actually go back to the cope part. The most cope part is that it will go back to Gatwa. I kind of don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think it's meant to be long term either.
I think ultimately Gatwa was just going to be around for these 2 seasons. I think most people kind of knew that that's as much as you could get an actor like Gatwa to do, right? Like within budget, within like his career.
And he didn't have nothing. Like he's had also the specials. Oh well, really just the 2. But obviously he was introducing the Giggle, and then had the Christmas special. He's had an okay number of episodes, but it's still a little bit bittersweet. I think even though I think it was definitely his choice to leave, I do still agree that he was done a little bit dirty. But that's more so by the writing than by the length of his tenure. Not. I think he could have. The amount of time he's been around could have been okay if it was more consistently good.
He does not like. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's the only one, but like I think people do say that there was a marked decline in quality in at least Capaldi's era, right? But even Capaldi had like.
But not by the end.
Right.
Like, it almost got better by the end. In like the final season. Although then again, we don't have the exact same, we don't exactly align with the consensus on that. Which is that, well, not the consensus, but like the idea that series 9 is actually good, which is the second one for Capaldi. Not that it's bad, like really bad, but I don't think it's great. I don't think either of us do.
Yeah. But even still, even with some of the best seasons, like we can go like the Bill Noddle, the Doctor is like a dream trilogy.
Trilogy.
But like most of their stories kind of blow.
Yeah. Yes.
Honestly,
most of them do. There's like maybe one or two. There's maybe one or two at most outside of the Extremis 3-parter that is actually great. Like maybe 1 or 2 others. Like it's literally just the Extremis.
I think one of the Extremis 3.
Yeah. I think overall the 3-parter works, and the finale is very good. The finale is actually pretty amazing. for that.
Yeah, one of the best finales.
So I guess some
Which
people
isn't
would say
saying
there's a
much for Doctor Who,
decline.
to be honest.
I guess some people would argue there's a decline since like Series 7, like Smith's final season. Some people might argue it started there, and it did because that was a decline. Even obviously, I think it picked up in a lot of ways. But
Well, I think that was just a noticeable like lull, like obviously with all the situations. But yeah,
it's just so many things. Yeah, because obviously the
my
Day of
point
the
was
Doctor
that
stuff is fantastic.
even like even when people started thinking it was going downhill like Capaldi, he'd still get a bit of peak every now and then, like a bit of
Yeah.
Hellbent, Heaven Sent, whatever, either or.
It felt like the stuff
Like
that was important
listen,
still felt really rich at the same time. Davies does not. I think the problem with Davies is that unlike Moffat and honestly even Chibnall, not that you shouldn't be locked in all the time. You should be, but Davies does not lock in for finales. He doesn't seem to like treat them with much more importance, even though he does because he likes to market them and be like, "Oh, this is gonna be really important."
and
He doesn't
two-parters,
actually.
and
He
they
doesn't
take up
actually
like
give
5 minutes of
finales.
every episode building up
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
it is like dedicated
But he
to
doesn't actually give
hyping it.
finales like the richness and like basically just I don't know. There's something about even with all the Chibnall's finales, there's still like a weight and like more stuff going on. But there's like more stuff going on, yet it all feels more like deeply written at the same time. It's like it never felt shallow, even if I didn't necessarily like what was going on all the time. It still felt like this is written to be like substantial. This stuff just feels so like lightweight for some reason. Like not much backing it up.
Yeah.
With the characters even. I think Ruby's the honestly out of the main characters of like the 15th Doctor's era, Ruby was like the one who came out the best, arguably. And that's including the Doctor.
Yeah.
That's including
I really, really like that Ruby just has that ability.
what?
She's just like she can just you can just see through time or see through like realities and shifts and shit. That's just a thing she developed, and it's not explained, and it probably never will be. I assume there's going to be a complete reset moving forward, right? Actually, I just realized you're about. Wait, no, yeah, Ruby, yeah,
Ruby.
Companion.
Ruby. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ruby's actually good overall.
Yeah, I really like
Belinda
her.
was sort
Belinda
of
is
undone.
still alright.
Belinda's alright. I just think she was undone.
Belinda
she was kind of given
had a lot more potential at the beginning, but she kind of then didn't do anything for many episodes, like in a row.
She didn't do anything for many episodes, and she also her eventual fate was kind of just a result of a wish. Technically, it was a result of Conrad's wishes, which is not doesn't feel great. It's like, oh yeah, this is like my reality now. I've been given this child and I care about it, but it's like, but you didn't before. I understand it is technically real now, but it wasn't. It's kind of weird. She's kind of had a fate consensually forced on her. It wasn't, you know. Like, I don't know if it's the best way for it to go. I mean, although I guess the fact that they clearly are trying to reset in some ways also in it itself quite strange, but also it's why I'm not ever gonna be like 100% put off watching the show, because I want to know why he's trying to kind of blank slated things again, to be honest.
Because I think he knows that there's no guarantees to the future. Like, he can't set anything up because they don't know if they'll ever be able to pay it off.
Well, this is why I do, and this is very much so a me thing, I do typically, because, you know, I've seen a lot of discourse about this episode, and no surprise, it's drummed up a lot of very extreme opinions. You do absolutely get people being like, this is literally the worst episode ever. And the more I think about it, I'm just like...
Dude.
I don't think it should...
Doctor
no
Who
one's
fan
lives
is
should...
over. He is quitting.
This is what I mean. No one's lives should be seriously altered by this, but the worst episode ever thing, less ridiculous than I probably thought at first. I still think people should be able to rationalise fiction in that way, though. It shouldn't. Although, in his case, that's not ruining his life. If it depends on how he is actually talking about.
I mean, he's not actually going to quit YouTube, but he's
not even actually. He's not even actually quitting YouTube. That's what I mean.
It is literally he is like, this is like Doctor Who will never be good again, and it was never as good as the old stuff as far as he's concerned. So it's just a sign.
But he means old Who, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Weird.
He kind of established it. He thinks the only actual good Doctor Who of the reboot was season 1.
It's just bizarre.
Everything else has been like a compromise.
That's just so bizarre.
And as far as he's concerned, this is the death of it, because it's obviously, yeah, with the Billy Piper thing, it's basically, and I do have to agree, it is them saying, "All right, we run out of ideas." Like,
It is that. It definitely is. But I also there is the
no, I
more
don't think there's an also.
production. N-
I,
it-
d- I don't. I don't think there's
well,
an also.
there's an additional, not a alternative explanation, but which is like I think this helped the show probably not be literally killed though.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be the opposite.
You know, it could be the opposite. It could be the opposite. Probably will be. But,
Ultimate, like,
probably still the
like,
reason
I
why
think...
it's not going to actually literally get cancelled.
Yeah, except that it probably will, because no one's being positive about this ending, right? No one actually likes it. Even if you like Gatwa as a whole, which I think we do, honestly. Ultimately, I think there are rewatchable episodes in this era.
There's a lot of rewatchable episodes, but I would say it's still
I'm never gonna
probably
rewatch the whole thing, but
less than 50% that are great.
Yeah.
30 seconds before you attack.
And it's kind of like, and we're like,
some people really hate Interstellar Song Contest though. That's a weird one that I think I do like actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we like it because it's good.
But I mean, it's still like, you know, a fragment of a candle to what, you know, Tennant Smith had, but you know, it is what it is.
I'm not surprised they did like flashback stuff. Well, not well. Then I guess flashback like literal scene stuff, where like they just play snippets from previous stuff. Right? They did a little bit of that, but that's the thing. I think they were a little bit restrained there. They could have shown a lot more. But which is why, because it wasn't overboard, it was nice to see Smith just briefly see Matt Smith's face. If they'd gone through and shown a clip from literally every Doctor, I would have been like, okay.
Help me, turn around.
It just being, I turned around and started hitting the first person. It was an Iron Man.
He literally, he shot at that Iron Man, missed, and killed me.
Oh
but
my
yeah,
god.
No,
it's still nice to see Smith's face, like genuinely. Like, hello. But like I said earlier, also nice to see Jodie, genuinely. She seemed like she was very happy to be there. She seemed like she was...
Yeah.
Because she was very happy to be there. And it made her far more compelling. I don't think she was done.
I feel like it validated
done
her
badly
bit,
at all.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know why, but like, I feel like they've been kind of like not quite valuing her as much. And now that is not the case. She is a doctor. But now it is actually kind of peeving me off a little bit more. That it seems like, you know, it's Moffat's era that is actually not getting talked about now.
Yeah. Well, the thing I don't inherently hate
really
about
many
that.
Moffat era villains are coming back.
Well, we need to talk about that, which is
Smith and Capaldi have never reappeared.
Yeah, I don't think Capaldi would though. I'm not sure.
Why not? He fucking loves Doctor Who.
Okay, actually, you know what? No, I think I should probably not correct that. I think Capaldi would. I think Smith is less likely to, honestly.
Yeah, Smith is kind of bigger. But then again, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the clickbait stuff. Like, I got clickbaited on a fucking newsfeed. Which is like they're doing a 20th anniversary thing. And Karen Gillan and...
Or New Who. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Doctor Who Unleashed or whatever. I don't know. Something else.
Yeah.
And
I was
a lot of people
there's like Karen Gillan and Arthur Dole is returning to Doctor Who. I'm like, what? I click on it. It's like, yeah, it's that.
Yeah, it's not. They're doing like a good celebration.
No,
thing.
yeah.
It's like everyone. It's a lot of people. It's like Tennant.
Yeah, except Matt Smith, Capaldi.
except those two doctors. I don't know if Jenna Coleman's there.
I don't think Tennant's there either.
No, Tennant is. Tennant. No, yeah, Tennant is. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Tennant and Billy Piper. Pearl Mackie's there, so Bill is there, but not. I don't think Jenna Coleman is though.
Other fellows, I think, way too big. Yeah. But he's actually a pretty big actor, isn't he?
Matt Lucas.
Or like personality. Yeah.
Kind
Either
of
that or
is and isn't.
Either or.
He's just doing a podcast at the moment with David Williams, which is cool. Because basically, they just do like they bring on like their friends, like celebrity friends, and it's like make like a movie out of their life. It's like what they do. So they've had like Simon Pegg on. That's cool. Simon
Yeah,
Pegg.
but still. And it's fucking... Yeah, but Matt Smith, no. But yeah, he's
You're-
kind of got bigger shit to do at the moment. Like, so I think that second Game of Thrones show is still going on, right?
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, it's definitely still going, and he's doing more than that. Well, he does movies. He does stuff. He's making it. He's made it. He's made it. Doctor Who was kind of good enough, but he has done very well.
Morbius 2, hopefully.
It's kind of nice, but I think there's a perception that sometimes it's more so the companions that actually do well. I think both Karen Gillan and Matt Smith both did quite well.
Very well.
Karen
And I saw
Gillan
a
had a
picture
stronger.
of Arthur Darrow in
Karen,
the thing, and
Karen
his hair,
Gillan had a.
he's done quite well.
Yeah,
Great hair.
Karen Gillan though obviously did very well right out the gate, but obviously I guess it's because she left before did.
Yeah.
That works. But yeah, we need to talk about the fact that Gatwa never fought the Master, the Cybermen, or the Daleks.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Which does lend some credence to him coming back, I guess. I think by the way, I don't think he's coming back.
He was never really the Doctor.
No, I don't think he's coming back, but I think he would if he could love to do a multi-Doctor special. If he could.
Oh yeah.
I think he would love to come back and feel like he could do it, like, feasibly. I think Jodie would as well. I think they're literally the most likely ones to come back for a multi-Doctor. And that's my fear about, like, Davies huffing his own farts to a ridiculous degree, because he might be about to do a thing where he has, the spare Tennant Doctor, and, now the Billy Piper Doctor interact, and probably... I don't know where that's gonna go, but I reckon he's gonna want to do something with that, because he's a fucking, he loves his own. He's high on his own supply. He is. He just is.
Yeah, Davies needs to get the fuck off Doctor Who.
Yeah, and
they need a complete.
They do need a new one. They need a new guy.
overhaul.
They do need a new person. Completely. The thing is, there's that.
I
Obviously,
think
there's that spin-off.
They need, everyone. Every single fucking thing needs changing. That's the only way it's gonna make it through.
Unit kind of needs to be fucking eliminated, like literally, because first of all, Gatwa.
Yeah.
If you include the Giggle, which I think you should, Gatwa's been involved in 3 consecutive Unit Tower finales.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this! What is this? Well, why is this, like, they literally never did that before. Like, every finale took place somewhere different. Somewhere, like, or at least, went to different places. I guess Earth did usually come up, but, like, you even have, like, when it's, like, Martha's Light started on Utopia. Always weird locations, and there kind of was. I guess, like, the tower, the Bone Tower's weird, but not that weird. I don't know, it's the Unit Tower thing.
Kind of looked really shit.
It's their fucking
Evolving.
Avengers Tower. It's like... If that spin-off, the fucking war between the land and the sea, could do one thing, is destroy Unit and bring them down to, like, where they're meant to be. By the way, I haven't watched the trailer. There's a trailer out for that. Apparently it looks, like, good in the sense of it just looks like a good show. And it might be.
It's odd that that's going to be what, like, the future of Doctor Who might rely on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... I don't think we should be completely opposed to a spin-off right about now. I mean, look, one of the biggest problems with Halo is that they refuse to do anything without Master Chief at the moment. So, I'm not, like, I don't hate the idea of a spin-off. Again, it depends how much it's going to tie in. Like, the Doctor won't be in that, but, like, no way.
Yeah.
I mean, he was never in Torchwood, and it might. That depends. I don't know how it does look more dramatic, but I don't know if it's necessarily adult in the way that Torchwood was, because that's why the Doctor wasn't in that. It's just weird. The thing is, I think people also kind of understand, like, Billy Piper is probably not the problem herself, and that she definitely won't be bad. This is the kind of weird aspect to it, but also...
Yeah, that's just a funny thing. Because I think you should watch it. It's so fucking funny. That is one of the
Doctor Who
hardest
fans?
crash outs I've seen in a
I
long
don't like watching
not
crash
even about
outs.
Doctor Who.
I don't like watching crash outs unless they're like long cows.
It is a man who's the thing he has founded his entire fucking life on, his love, his passions, his character, crumble before his very eyes, and he breaks under the weight of it. Like, it is fucking astounding.
Yeah.
And yeah, he basically says they could not have casted a worse person as far as he's concerned.
But what does he mean by
Like,
that?
she is the worst person to have cast as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, because even like the weird, like obviously like her face like being in the TARDIS kind of thing, it still doesn't like you can like I think the story will be able to justify it easily. I'm sure Russell will have no problem coming up with justification for this because there will be like a special justification for why the Doctor looks like Rose. There will be, but that doesn't make it good. Just because it's easy to explain and give lore to, it doesn't make it at all. I don't disagree. I don't know about the.
Glory is almost yours.
He's the worst person in the sense of it represents the most, like, you know,
it's
slopification of Doctor Who. That's what it is.
It is like, you know, they've already dived into the Tenant Donna thing again, and I think his point is that, like, ultimately, like, this is the exact person you would cast if you just want to cash into that again, right? Like, he thinks, like, you know, other companions would have been better. Like, they, like would have stood on their own merit more.
Arthur Darvill.
Well, yeah, well, he said that he thinks Karen Gillan would have been a really good one.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like,
bringing back a Moffat companion would have been awesome. Any of them.
I mean, a Clara is literally like a Doctor. But the point is that fucking he as that character.
James Corden.
Like, but it's also
that would have been worse. Obvious, yeah, right? Come on, it would be because it's James Corden.
Fucking nuke that shark.
I'm gonna nuke the shark. Yeah, it probably is not a good choice. It's the problem is there's no indication about what the plan is. It's like, is she actually going to be doing an actual series? Is it just going to be specials again, like with Tennant?
No one knows.
Is it
no
good?
One can
would it be good if it was just specials?
Plan right now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
would she be better off having an actual series or not?
The show is in such a position, and it's like it's really interesting because I don't want it to come back. I fucking don't. Like, genuinely, like, a show that hasn't been good for like 10, 15 fucking years shouldn't be on
it's
air.
Not 15. That's 2010. That's when Smith started. So.
Then 10. 10 years is too long for a show to be like below average compared to itself, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of, and not only that, but it seems like it's trying to adapt to the modern way things work, right? Like, this season was a very modern TV show.
It's weird that,
right?
I mean, like,
All
watch the
these
characters,
guys.
the flying characters, are like the sniper, the guys with good guns.
The
And
Punisher's really good.
Oh god.
Should have
He
anyway.
is, but I think
It's
in
Karen
this
Gillan.
is the melee characters.
Because
like, that
you
kung fu
what
guy,
did you did you hear a woman's
I think
voice?
it's close.
I see.
and just kick the shit out of him.
Was Chevy good Dexter Morgan?
You're right. Okay.
I knew it. Yeah, so
Dexter
fucking...
Morgan. Someone took the 1T. Someone hit these 2 T's.
Yeah. So I've completely forgotten where we were going. But
You're saying you just don't want it to come back at this point, which I think that's
Yeah,
a
because
perfectly
it
fine
can't-
position now.
like,
At this point, I'm not going to judge you for that.
it has been slowly trying to, you know, like, obviously the old show was very, very different. They were 20-minute episodes that were split into like 8-parters, basically, like constant, like, you know, like cliffhangers, like moments, snippets. Like, each episode was basically like 2 scenes, really,
Yeah.
and it's like shit like that. And I don't think it's inherently perfect. I think it kind of drags,
No.
but I think the show. I think the show adapted well in, you know, the reboot. I think it held together well in some elements, right? Like, some episodes could probably use more time, some shouldn't have been on air, but
You're talking about the fucking Shakespeare, aren't you? Charles Darwin one.
any
Darwin?
fucking
Dickens.
historical.
Any historical.
Yeah.
I guess both for the Shakespeare Code and the one with Charles Darwin. Dickens! Darwin would be cool. Darwin would be cool.
Yeah, Darwin could be
Oh, they
interesting.
did do that, didn't
like
they?
Some sort of
Oh no, that was
evolution
Isaac
thing.
Newton. Fuck, the Mavity thing. That was real. But do you remember that?
I really, it hit me like a wave, and then it didn't end up filling. They were like, time is off by 1 degree, and we don't know why. What's happened? I really thought it was going to be revealed that the whole Mavity thing is the entire cause of all of this. That, like, he shifted time incorrectly with Mavity.
If that happened, then I would have agreed with people who want to get Davies arrested.
Well, no, that would have been crazy though, because it was like this ongoing joke that would have then actually ultimately been the MacGuffin that the series is based on. Like the bees leaving, right? There's no bees. It would have been like that.
But that
with,
worked. That worked
Narity.
well, actually. Which is why I'm surprised he didn't try and do something exactly like that. With the way he is.
Yeah, well,
it's almost like he's trying
that was
to
the
repeat
third season,
himself.
so he would have done it in next season instead.
It's like he's trying to repeat himself, and it's not even subconscious. Like, yeah, this is good. I should do exactly what I did before.
The thing is, yeah, but oh my god, fuck is in front of me. Well, Dr. Tufan pointed out that the plot was actually the exact same as the I think it's the End of Time.
End of Time.
Where
I guess it is.
the only other surviving Time Lord is trying to resurrect Gallifrey and opens a gate that unlocks a horror that ends up trying to kill that Time Lord, and then they ultimately like both die and they get sent back through the gate.
In the End of Time, the horror is the Time
And then
Lord,
to
so.
save a single person, the Doctor regenerates.
Yeah. I think some people, for some reason, some people are actually confused about why he regenerated. I think that was just.
I think it's good. I
communicated just
like when
fine.
the Doctor dies for literally just a single person.
He was committing suicide,
like with-
basically, literally to like.
Yeah.
He just like I need to expel the energy needed to do this, and it's going to force me to regenerate. Fuck it.
Oh yeah, I mean the technical shit behind it, I don't really care about.
No, I'm
Like,
just
it
saying.
needs to
I
end
don't
and
think
all
it's
that.
confusing why he did. Some people confuse why he regenerated. No, I
Right.
think it's actually fine. I understand why he did. It just didn't feel like it did feel too early. It's like the thing is, I still. I'm not
so
saying.
sudden.
I'm not saying I want him back, right? I don't, and I don't mean Gatwa. I do want Gatwa back. Actually, that'd be fine. But I do think they need a complete change of hands. But I also still think that Gatwa would have been better under Moffat. I do.
Could have been.
And I don't think that's how it works, right? I don't think that's how it works. I think Davies was the right person for both Tennant and Eccleston. But honestly, not Gatwa. I think it's because Davies wanted Gatwa too much, almost. That's honestly that's part of the reason I think like, why he's not actually the best person to write for him. It's almost too similar. They're not really.
Yeah, one's black, dude. What the hell are you on about?
One's black. I don't think we should be saying things like that means they're completely different.
No, my point was that they're not that different.
Not so different, you and I.
Because they're both gay. They're all the same.
Yeah. Wait, no. But yeah, I guess it is still really is up in the air about what the next anything is going to be for Doctor Who, and the reason why I'm still comfortable, right, in because I know I'm going to probably will watch whatever comes next, but I'm okay with that because clearly it's going to keep going no matter how low the viewing numbers are. So I'm not worried about contributing viewership. You know what I mean? I am like secure that I will just be satisfying a curiosity to see if anything changes. No expectation that it will, but I am an eternally curious person. So I don't have any high expectations. No, I have obviously low expectations, but I'd rather say no expectations than high or low. So I'm just always on the side of just seeing what happens. I can't not be because it's kind of the once you get to that point where you can be that, it's the easiest way to be in having some relationship to fiction. Like if you're able to be nothing but curious, no matter how good or bad things get.
Fuck being passionate about something.
I am passionate. I am passionate. It just lets me eliminate negativity. It just lets. It means you only really get truly excited when things are really good. Yeah, it was. It's so crazy that you have an episode like The Well, though, because I do still want to talk about the season overall. That is still the best episode of the new of RTD2. That's what they call it. This era. The Well, the Midnight.
No.
Not the best.
No. The more I think about it, the less I actually inherently like it. I feel like if on a rewatch, knowing that the reveal is there, I feel like it is good. it is good.
It's still crazy that it wasn't bad almost. Like it being good for the ideal, but the fact that it wasn't a disaster and like wasn't disrespectful. Like you would honestly, I would expect him to just trip over his own feet doing something like that, but he really didn't. That's the most impressive thing about it, and makes
Yeah,
stuff
it
like
is
the
kind of
finale look
like-
hilarious. No, it's like how do you go from that?
Well, I think it's interesting because I mean I've told you about it's kind of revealed that like Davies had to kind of rebuild a story from the ground up for the well. It was going to be about some like African god,
You did
and
tell
they
me
felt
about
they felt like culturally ill-equipped
Yep.
to tell that story, so they kind of remade it to be a Midnight sequel,
I can relate to that, Davies.
and it is interesting how like often crunch helps. Like sometimes it really doesn't, but like someone like that, like Davies, he had like probably a well, right? He had an idea, something comes out of the well and something bad happens, and he could rework that into
Well,
a
yeah,
story.
because obviously the well wasn't that prominent as it being like the well is like this. The well wasn't really a set piece. The set piece was really just the room that they were in with the deaf girl.
Yeah,
But like, it's
place, as it
unlike
were.
like the Satan pit, which is like that is very the pit is very important. The pit.
Yeah, which I mean, I bet you paused when Satan Pit was mentioned. I'm not exactly sure when it is, but I'm pretty sure I remember him saying like I've been inside like I met Satan or some shit like
I mean,
that.
that is one of that is. It's crazy that that's in. That's the reason why I still give series 2 a pass. That's like Tennant's first series. Overall, I do think it's kind of bad, but that 2-parter is magical. Genuinely crazy. It's just weird though. That's how Davies is though. He's always been a bit like this. It's just sort of a very extreme version of it. Always been very inconsistent, and then but have like some pretty crazy highs. So then I guess what do you have an idea what is your favorite or best episode from this entire era? Or the season. You can just go with the season if you want.
Dude, I think it's Dot and Bubble.
Okay.
I genuinely
Apparently,
think it's Dot and
that
Bubble.
scene at the end is like apparently the first scene that Gat was shot.
Yeah,
Which makes sense schedule-wise, that it
that.
would be like an episode actually that he wasn't.
because it was the
being
Doctor
much.
Lights that were recorded earliest because he was.
But
busy.
that was a really good Doctor Light. I think it was actually one of the best ones ever. When I think
Yeah,
about it.
I seriously, I think
Blink
that was.
is probably still going to beat it out. I think easily, and that's me being objective by the way, because I'm not a huge Blink fan. But I think it probably could be second to it. Like, it's definitely better. Like obviously, I like Love and Monsters, right? But it's better than Love and Monsters because the Doctor's involvement is actually very like impassioned, and like he almost
It's
has
very
a,
similar
he-
to Blake because once again, it's basically just Davies copying himself. Like in the it's kind of the Doctor just comes in every so often on a screen to help out and guide the main character.
But it's
through
the
a
resolution of
perilous
that. I think
situation.
the end was very good. Yeah, it is very similar to Blink, but I thought it was great. I think it's probably Gatwa's best moment as well, which is kind of crazy that it was his first,
Yeah, that last bit, yeah.
like first thing that he filmed. It was great, very good. Yeah, I think that is a very valid thing, because when I think about it, after this finale, I don't know if this is if we're going to go with season 1 and if we're going to call them season 1 and season 2. I don't know that season 2 is actually inherently better. Probably not.
I think it was more
It might be
reliably good. I think that was like, I think there was no rogue in season 2.
There's no Rogue or Space Babies, but those episodes were also.
But even then, Space Babies wasn't that bad.
Shut up.
Um,
It could have been worse. I think it's also it being the first episode.
I think the
Massive
Boogie
problem.
Monster was kind of funny.
I like
But
that
yeah,
it was a
it
practical
definitely
effect.
shouldn't have been the first episode of the new era. That was just so stupid. But that's another thing Doctor Who fan mentions, that they have been actively trying to sabotage this fucking this show this entire fucking time. Like it's been coming out at like midnight and then like 8 in the
Midnight.
morning.
Sorry. Midnight's such a cool
Alrighty then.
term. I don't know why.
Uh,
I like the word midnight. Great.
Well, the thing is, that's the problem because there was midnight in like the finale. I'm like, no, you better not. You better fucking not.
No, I didn't actually.
Like it was like, oh,
When
it's
was that?
like, resets at midnight, or like midnight was like coming up, and I'm like, oh god.
I'm just a sucker for cool words. Omega. Although Omega kind of falls flat. There's a lot of Omegas around. There's a lot of...
Well, I find it interesting how they didn't tackle the obvious question. If Omega is the first Time Lord, how does that make any fucking sense with the Timeless Child lore?
It doesn't. But then again, I do not have the Timeless Child stuff very committed to memory at all.
Basically,
I do remember
the
like,
Doctor came through a
Tecteun,
portal,
like, the Doctor's
and
mother.
then Tecteun, who is basically the Doctor's mother, brought experimented on the Doctor, and then gained the Time Lord ability, and she was the first one to gain it, and then everyone else got regeneration, which basically means that it makes no fucking sense with Omega as like a plot line.
It's just I don't know
and they just
why
didn't bring it up.
Davies thinks it's like I don't know how like he can get away with saying shit like, oh, this is such a great jumping on point. You fucking charlatan. You fucking What do you mean jumping on point? This is the opposite of that.
Dude,
I
I
think
would say
there are-
this is a firm jump off point.
There are only oh yeah, definitely. There are only really 2 jumping on points in New Who. It's like literally series 1 and series 4. I would say the only valid jumping off. Series 5, I mean, not 4. Fucking hell. So the first one, Eccleston, and I think you can potentially go from Smiths. Cause the reason I say that, I do genuinely still think the reason why I don't have much of a problem with like Moffat stuff being kind of sidelined is because I think that era like almost works by itself. That's why I don't have a problem with it. It does feel very contained, like from
Dude, it
the beginning of
literally
Smith to the end of
with a
Capaldi.
hard reboot of the universe, like
Yeah.
literally.
Obviously, it does
Like,
literally follow like direct, like literally the moment like from the end of time. It's like it's actually a very very direct continuation. It's literally
Sure,
the moments
but
immediately following, but it still works very well.
It's like
Same thing at the end
as
as
an
well.
introduction
But
to a character.
literally, the
it's
end
still,
of it
like-
is just the same. Capaldi turning into Whittaker, it's the same thing. The TARDIS is crashing. It's exactly the same. It's like those are just bookends, basically, to an era that does function by itself.
Yeah.
And you have Chibnall with this like sort of weird thing that some people like, some people don't. And then Davies is like this also bookend, except the first side of things is very good, and the other side of things is very bitter. I don't know, but he does kind of bookend stuff. I don't. I mean, I don't know if I hope he does. It has bookended Doctor Who. But
I
that
think
would
this
be
would be a terrible finale to Doctor Who, but at the exact same time, I don't think the people currently in the there can make a good end to Doctor Who.
No,
So I
it
think
would
it
be
just leave it.
crazy to somehow shift like to a completely new like creative team, but keep like Billy Piper, whatever the next thing is. That would be so weird. Better than it continuing Davies at the helm.
I think that you could very easily do like a bit where Billy Piper is like the shortest regeneration of the Doctor ever, or some shit like that, right?
Like 1 episode.
And
Like
yeah.
less time as the Doctor than Paul McGann.
yeah, like I mean, Paul McGann was a Doctor for like ages off screen, obviously, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh, you mean so you mean both?
I
You mean
mean,
lore-wise too?
I mean, literally. I mean, like she dies in like her first adventure or some shit like that. Sacrifice herself, obviously, not like incompetence, there's sexism and all that. But yeah, no, fucking her just not doing that, not relying on Billy Piper's name and the reference towards Doctor Who itself on the next era would be nice.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not saying that Paul McGann was ever considered, but I know that he
But
wasn't.
even then, it's the same fucking thing.
No, but
dude.
it's not though. He's like the least like that of any of those kind of options. But at the same time,
He's just
I
a
don't think he
deep cut
ever would have.
reference.
Yeah. But that's why it would. That's why that. But that's still why I think it works.
Still a reference. They need to move forward.
They do,
need to
they do,
stop
they do.
fucking
They
referencing
really do.
themselves. Like, oh look, the well. It's actually midnight too. You like guys like midnight, right? It's midnight too.
I think that
yeah.
only looks bad now because bringing with like how bad the finale was. 'Cause I think bringing stuff back is actually kind of a staple of the show, unfortunately. But it is. It's not like it never happened
Sure,
in
you
Moffat's
say
era
that.
even.
I think there's only really a couple examples of that. It's really just the Daleks, the Master, and the Cybermen. They're like the only thing that really just come back like all the time and are iconic in that way.
For the most part.
Like,
I think stuff like Midnight does still happen. Like, I shouldn't really say that because I don't have that really good example to bring up right now. But look, it still happens. But you do. If it's going to come back, it needs to be a complete refresh. The best way to do that would be like it comes back in like 3 years, shortest. And it does still start with Billie Piper, but like like something immediately happens. It's like a cold open, like thing. You immediately put in a scenario where she has to regenerate. And it's like that because that would actually be a really, unfortunately, not. I have to give. I'm gonna like indirect credit here to the idea of bringing Billie Piper back. It would be a cool cold open to open a season like after 3 years, and immediately the Doctor runs into like something that she immediately has to regenerate. Like immediately, it would be a pretty crazy opening scene. It would be
a first episode of like the Cybermen and Daleks like working together like instantly out the gate and being like completely overwhelmed, and that is it's basically is like the Impossible Astronaut open where the Doctor like loses first thing.
Yeah.
But she like she regenerates like out the gate. It's like that Doctor is then like on the back foot the entire season. Like, I think it would be interesting if the TARDIS was out of commission for a season. The Doctor has to like rely.
What season is that? That's like season. That's like John Pertwee's first thing, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of, right? Like, yeah, but because that worked, right? That worked. That brought back the show, as far as most people were concerned. Like, they did it for budgeting reasons, but it fucking saved the show.
Yeah, so you literally the ideal is that the season opens, a cold open, that
and
an immediate situation. She regenerates, and then the TARDIS explodes. She regenerates,
like,
and then you have a new Doctor stuck on Earth.
The Dalek and
immediately.
Cybermen, like
it's like a new Doctor. It's like
it's
someone. It's a completely new actor. There's no TARDIS, and it's all on Earth. That is a very. The thing is, that is forced to be completely different. Like from the show, you have no TARDIS, you have no returning characters. It's just say units being destroyed off screen.
Inherently all on Earth as well. I think that you could still do some of the other stuff, but just something other than the TARDIS, like some forced experimental thing. Like the Doctor's constantly trying to fucking figure out a way to sort it all out, and it's just not really working. Like, I don't know. But yeah, just something where the Doctor is thoroughly on the back foot like the entire time. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the only good outcome. Unfortunately, we just well we don't know. That's the only. It's not. I wouldn't call it a silver lining, but it means that we're not inherently saddled with the worst case scenario yet.
Of just another shitty, slocky fucking season.
Yeah, we might be. We don't know. We might be, but we don't know. But we are, at least.
I think, honestly, a lot better off if Disney doesn't reinstate.
Yes, I don't want Disney involved at all.
Because Disney really probably forced the whole 8-season thing, the 8-episode thing rather. And I really do. I do think they need an overhaul in the way that the show is made. Like, it is a long show. It benefits from being longer, right? It's world building. It's like, fucking.
Yeah, you at least need 10. You need it enough where you can potentially put a 2-parter before the finale. Like that's the minimum amount, I think. It's a number that allows for that.
Sure, minimum, but like.
Well, yeah, ideally more, but I just mean I think that's something that needed.
I don't see why.
Concept of 2-parters.
Shows like things are getting. Oh my god. Shows that this is actually the first time I've seen the team up. Shows are getting easier to make, right? Am I not wrong in that? Like technology is improving. Like what was that thing? That,
production-wise, things are getting easier. Scheduling-wise, things are getting harder.
I guess, but who was? It was that fella, the blue fella from X-Men, right? He talked about how back when like he filmed the original one.
Alan Cumming.
Yeah, how he filmed the original one.
Mr. Ringerding.
It took like 3 hours to put all of his makeup on it. It was miserable.
I think it was a lot more than that, and it's like maybe like 40 minutes now though, or something. I think it was more than 3 hours originally. 5. Like literally, like you have to get up at like 4 AM so you can start the day at like 9.
Yeah. And now, yeah, it's like 45 minutes, I think he said.
Yeah.
And it's like shit like that. Like, things are getting quicker and easier, which means they cost less. And it's just like, the only problem is that people's standards seems to be going up at the same time, but at the same time, I think that's made up. Right?
No, I don't think general
really
audiences'
think-
standards are going up. I think people
I
who
don't
don't
think
really
the
think about
actual,
what they're
like-
watching, I don't think their standards go up. I think they're going down because it's all just like people just on their phones the whole time.
No, not like writing, but I mean visually.
Well, writing it is objectively going down because like streaming services are
Yeah,
pushing a
but no one
thing.
gives a shit.
Streaming services are literally pushing a thing. Like studios, the production companies behind the streaming service shows are pushing a thing where they want writers to write it so that characters are very often explaining what's happening out loud. That means that people
Yeah.
don't have to look at the screen
Because
as
the
much,
people are,
which
yeah,
is really
being
sad.
rotters.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, and so yeah, writing quality is going down, but like visually, people seem to care more about like it has to be like flawless CGI all the time, and there has to be like every fucking scene for some reason. Like it's
Well,
just
I
visually
don't
like
think it
everything
does.
won't stop. Oh, okay. Well,
See, it doesn't because people were barely paying attention. I also don't think it does either because I don't think that's what makes most. I don't think that's what makes shows thrive. Is like amazing effects. I think that's for movies.
no, but
I think it's
that's like
You'll need a
that's like
top-notch team to win.
the only real measurement of which Doctor Who has actually been improving in the last couple of years. Like,
Although I
bigger
would say
CGI
yeah,
sets.
CGI, sure, but I don't think I think on a practical level it's the same, just as good. Which, by the way, is good. They've always been really
Yeah,
good at practical
But then it
effects.
begs the question: where's these seasons had significantly
got
more
any good
money put
writing?
into them, yet had significantly less episodes.
Hmm.
So why was each episode cost so much more than the previous ones? Why couldn't you have made like the episodes cost and they roughly be the exact same, and then have
My-
like fucking double the amount because you had double the amount
My
of money going
loose
into it?
understanding of why so much money gets spent on stuff is literally because of like projections, right? So, more money spent equals more money earned, right? That's kind of the basic idea. But at the same time, it doesn't have much of an effect on the production because it basically, for a lot of like studios, all more money means is less reason to cut corners.
That's in 5,
Basically,
4,
we can kind of just do stuff without cutting corners and without being clever. So it kind of evens out to being pretty like a very unnoticeable improvement, you know?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to be smart because you have more money. And then from the reason why they have that money is because the studio just like, oh, if we put more money into it, it means we'll get more money back, right? Definitely not. And yeah, it makes production companies, makes people working on it less clever about how they like actually put stuff together. Because I don't think Doctor Who is ever, like I think certainly the original Davies era, I think never looked worse than it needed to. It always looked as good as it needed to, in my opinion. Which is kind of wild. Except like certain CGI stuff. Maybe the Lazarus monster wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think it still looked how it needed to. I don't think it really suffered. Like, because even the Lazarus monster episode, it's still like real locations. Like they're filming inside like the church, right, and going up for like the church spire, and like there's still a lot of stuff there that works, that feels real. And yeah, so I don't think well, that's the thing. I don't think the money is a good thing at all. I mean, it's arguably a bad thing. In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it means they
if
can
the,
pay.
if the
Also, by
money
the
is
way,
making the show
by the
worse
way,
and the people like which giving them the money are like you need to change your show to meet these things.
Yeah.
It's making it double worse. Like it's
also
like,
a lot of that money,
what
by the way,
fuck
Tyler,
are
is
you
going
doing?
to people and like inflated salaries now, which obviously I'm sure Davies is going to push as much as he can. I've no doubt. And then Gatway is probably just fairly pricey by default.
Yeah.
And that's
Why you
part
want
of
a
it.
fresh actor?
Yeah, a new actor who obviously you want them to pay them well. You want it to be like a breakout role for them, ideally. But also it means they're just not going to be expensive because they're not an A-lister. That's why I think about, who would I like to be the Doctor? Obviously, I have ideas, but when I come to who I think should be the Doctor, it's someone I haven't heard of. I know that, who it should be. I shouldn't know when they cast the next Doctor. I shouldn't recognise the name. To be honest.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
The only thing I
That's not
actually
how it's been
expect
most
is
of the
them
time. I
being
think
from
it's
the
not.
UK.
It's not
I
like
think
that all
that's
the
really
time. I
it.
think Matt Smith is one of the only ones who was completely unknown. To be honest, when it started, it's like pretty much his first big role. But Tennant had done stuff before, and Capaldi obviously had. It's not always the case, but it's definitely what it needs at the moment. It's different. Sure.
Let's deliver Null's essence below the surface.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Next year. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be anything next.
No, it's probably going to be a while until we hear anything about them. I imagine, like, even if Disney's like picking them up or not. The only thing is that like it's really just I don't actually think there's any indications that say Disney doesn't want to reinstate the contract. They've just not been very open about it. I think is mainly what I'm aware of. Like
maybe. Well, the weird thing about the War Between the Land and the Sea is that its first trailer was like a Disney Plus trailer. I don't think I'm sure the BBC put one out too, but it's Disney Plus one, and it's not even really being like propped up as being a Doctor Who thing. So it's like Disney almost treating it as like its own thing. Weird. It's so weird. It's got like a couple of Doctor Who actors in it though. Well, obviously it does. Like obviously like Kate Stewart, but that guy as well. But the guy Russell Tovey, the guy who was like the fucking guy piloting the Titanic. Obviously he's not playing the same person. But Martha's sister is probably the weirdest one.
it's pretty deep cut.
Yeah, if it is
era.
actually her, which you know I would say probably is. I don't know if the character names are available on Wikipedia. Something that has actually been carried over though, like be fair, is Doctor Who being a yearly thing. Not anymore. I just mean that didn't change with Disney. It's still got Doctor Who 3 years in a row, with like since Russell T Davies came back. With the specials and then season 1, season 2. And obviously that's Doctor Who. Doctor Who's ideally a yearly thing. Unlike a lot of shows at the moment, which aren't. That's changing in some ways. All Out, very thankfully, is not going to be 2 years between seasons. But then, well, there's another show. Obviously, this is not really what this is about, but there is One Piece. Yeah. Sure, get excited. I am, but also like, you know, season 2 is actually not coming out this year.
Season 2's not coming out this year.
No.
Oh no.
But that's crazy though, because it's already been filmed. Like what?
Yeah, well, they got like lots of CGI, you know. There'll be giants and Chopper and more devil fruits.
I know, but it's still long. It's gonna be like up to sorry, not up to. It's gonna be at least 2.5 years. I mean, and I thought in some way we were sort of getting over this. Well, yeah, I mean, season 1 was 2023.
Oh, I thought you meant from now.
Not from now. Yeah, because I would reckon it probably will be very early next year, but it's still gonna be next year. And it was season 1 came out summer 2023, so it's gonna be at least years. It's like with One Piece. You sure? You sure?
Yeah, well, it's the live action.
I know.
I think the reanimation is still coming out this year, but we're not here to talk about that. But I get you on about that. You know, I don't know, and it's just one of those things. It's like Doctor Who hasn't kept up with modern quality of shows, just anyway, right? Like, it is some of the worst things you could be watching at the moment. It's just kind of like, why watch Doctor Who when you could watch, I don't know, the One Piece live action? And the answer to that question is that there isn't one. Like, there's no real reason to watch Doctor Who right now.
The reason you watch Doctor Who right now is because you are a Doctor Who fan.
The next couple of years.
That's
why.
You
basically
not a new person.
Yeah, so it's basically like, because you liked when it used to be good or when it used to appeal to you, you should watch all this shit now that doesn't and like isn't. And it's like, all right, but why am I? Why am I watching this show that I don't actually like? Like,
Partially watching it
and
because
it's like,
at least
this guy
it's
is
not taking
this
up like
the
a
only
ridiculous amount of
thing.
time. Thank God it's short.
The only thing that it's like it is similar to what the show I liked is that the main character is called the Doctor, and he's in a blue box. That's it. Even go in the blue box, and it's completely different, and in my opinion, very ugly. It's probably the worst TARDIS. I think.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's ugly. I think it's boring.
Bland. It's all white, and then there's a weird jukebox.
I think our idea of like doing, setting on Earth kind of thing, like really stripping things back, I think it's good, but also at the same time, what I do want is I do want classic villains. At the same time, I do want Daleks and Cybermen, especially.
Yeah, the staple ones, right? Like the ones that you're familiar with, but then ultimately, the main problem with those ones, and once again, I mean, I don't like the Cybermen because all of their stories are the fucking same. Like, oh, it's the Cybermen, they're going to turn you into Cybermen, and then the Doctor stops them. They're not unique, they're not interesting. Except, I think, in the finale Capaldi one. That was them at their best. The whole time warp, like, you watch them, like, evolve from, like, where they were created to essentially modern Cybermen. Was cool.
Yeah, so I think whatever they do next, it should not reject that kind of stuff. I think they're rejecting the wrong parts of the past almost. Like, some of this stuff should be brought back. Like, I don't like it when things just inherently see them like that. It's so clear to me that unfortunately that Davies really just likes his own shit. He's nostalgic for himself. Not Doctor Who, even though he is,
the Rani.
but also like really old, weird, deep cut shit. But I don't think he cares about that. I think he thinks he's being clever by doing that, and that's exciting people. But it's not.
So this is what we want. This is what people want. People want the Toymaker and the Sutek and the Rani.
The Sutek.
And it's like, I'm not sure. Is that really what people want? I didn't think it was. I thought I wanted like the Silence back.
I
Like,
do.
the Weeping
I
Angels.
still do.
I thought I wanted the Vashnarada, which I know that's still him, but like
Yeah, that'd be very midnight.
I think I kind of wanted the shit I like grew up watching, and like like cool action moments where the Doctor really like stunts on some fools, not the Doctor crying in literally every single episode, which it's just a weird thing to do.
It is, and it's a weirdly like.
Like
true
it
thing.
just feels like they're trying to make a point that like, oh yeah, men cry too, or like. The Doctor, this action badass hero, cries and is emotional. It's like, yeah, I know, I can cry. I'm not like fucking modern day.
I just find it frustrating. It really does feel like that modern audience thing that always fucks stuff over. Where it's like, instead of like appealing to a modern audience, all you've done is actually just not appeal to all the people that were already on board. So that's all you've done. You already had a very sizable audience, and now you're just making something that doesn't really appeal to them. But you absolutely should play with, like, obviously, ideally, for the most part, things should be new threats, for the most part, but it should have not rejected the idea of bringing stuff back from all of New Who. That's why I do still like The Well. I think bringing back the Midnight Monster, thank God they did it well, but it's still a good
they did
idea.
it the best they could have within the parameters of bringing back the Midnight Monster.
Yeah, but I think there should still be more of that. Not that one specifically, as in I think if you did something like bring back both the Midnight and like the Vashnarada in the same season, you're kind of playing with fire. That's too many really like heavy hitter.
That's like okay,
those are like heavy hitter one-offs, if you know what I mean.
8 episodes.
Yeah.
It'll be like, okay, this season's just bringing back his highlight.
But
okay.
what those are, like the Vashnarada and whatever Midnight Monster is, those are like a weird category that I kind of like, which is like one-off heavy hitters, if you know what I mean. Like these had a massive fucking impact, but they are very one-off things, which means bringing them back.
Which is why I think
like Silence was that until we brought them back fairly quickly. But, like for the Impossible Astronaut stuff, they were that kind of thing, for sure. And the Weeping Angels as well. So Moffat didn't mind bringing back his ones of those.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I don't think Moffat ever treated any of his creations as one hit. Those. I think he just treated them as creations, and the ones that people like, or he specifically liked, or saw lots of story potential in, he kept bringing back.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, you know, that's.
And I don't
that's
think
what-
I
and
don't think he ever went too
and that is,
far.
you know, that is actually something. I was trying to think about like Chibnall. Like, was there really an episode that Chibnall, the fucking Weeping Angels in his Weeping Angel episode during Flux is actually probably the best the Angels have been used since think.
Except for the Statue of Liberty specifically.
Sure, but I think there's a lot of people that
No,
will say that
I'm joking.
Specifically,
No, I
yeah,
also
that
I
is
know that. I
specifically
like it,
something
but I
they
think
hate.
that's a joke. No, I think there's definitely some value to that. I mean, I don't think Moffat ever went too far though. I don't think he ever ruined his creations. I think some people would argue he did, but I think they're wrong.
Well, people didn't like all the rules he added, but I think actually Chibnall did a really good job. Although, to be honest, it might be someone else who'd written the episode. I wouldn't know.
And obviously,
did a really
there's
good job of
Gatwa
showing how
literally
the
tries
rules
to
actually
bring a Weeping Angel into existence for some reason. In
Yeah.
the story of the engine, like, show me a Weeping Angel. So are you high?
Yeah, yeah. Imagine that, like, completely derailed the fucking episode. Like,
That would be awesome if it did. That would be the best way to do it. Or the best way to do something like that is to have the Doctor have like talked about his stories and whatnot, but maybe left out certain details, right? Like something like that, and then like Belinda or something brings up a Weeping Angel. That would be the best way to do that because you wouldn't. I think it would make Doctor look too stupid to do that, but it would be a cool thing to do. It's like they just manifest it, and suddenly the episode's about dealing with that because you fucked up, son. Because you.
it's just literally a Weeping Angel episode all of a sudden.
Oh god, we should
It's
write
like,
Doctor Who, shouldn't we?
Oh, I do think it would be an interesting thought process to like write a season of Doctor Who.
It would be an interesting exercise for me to
genuinely,
do.
Like, really elaborate on what we think would be our like favorite show, and then like I don't know what you would do with that though. That's the only thing. It's like you'd have
With
like
the
a
end
full
result.
script. Like you would post it online maybe, and would people like actually bother reading it? Like I guess some people would. But like,
I mean, I know
yeah,
I need
it's
to do
just-
more stuff that's in the vein of like exercises, like writing experiments. I know I need to do stuff like that. Really.
All right, new video next
Video?
week maybe.
Well, that wouldn't be if it was a video. That would just be like note taking. Wouldn't it be like a brainstorming session? I'm taking literally. I'm not going to literally record me writing a fucking V script.
You are, but you gotta like fart. You gotta speed it up with like royalty-free music, like in the background.
Well,
Yeah, it's
actually,
gonna be like still like 7 hours.
I was a little bit inhibited about it, so I actually did still demonetize the video myself. Or not? Okay, sorry, not demonetize. Just didn't monetize it, which was the true solo thing. I had a compilation of all my attempts, and I put some Halo music over it. Now, the thing about that is, and I kind of knew this, but I'm still like hesitant about it. Is that the Halo soundtrack is actually free to use.
It's quite delicious. Like Deep Rock one, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Deep Rock one is more so them just not caring. The
guess,
Halo one is a
the
weird
smaller
thing.
company.
It's a weird thing that I do have to give Marty O'Donnell credit for. He kind of took steps to make sure that people would be free to use it in this kind of thing. I think there's limits like on that. Like, for example, if you couldn't use it in a game or like a movie or show. But for some reason, it's like pretty much like it's basically all fair use. Not everything that is produced is like actually has fair use applied to it. Or it's available for that kind of thing. But the Halo soundtrack very much is, so people can just use it in their videos like outright. I know I would use that. Ideally, we'd use the Doctor Who soundtrack, I guess. When I think about it, honestly, yeah, we shouldn't write Doctor Who, but someone else should. At this point, all of them.
Yeah.
The only
But
thing
why
I would
couldn't it be
say,
you,
and
Harry? That's my thing. You're qualified.
because I chose against doing a year in TV production.
Yeah. Still confuses me. You're so clearly built.
Thanks,
Or,
buddy. I am built.
The way you consume media and your desire in creative writing is so clearly puts you in the direction of that path career-wise. But no, you're gonna write a book that no one's gonna fucking read.
Hey, that's not.
It doesn't even need to be bad. It's just a book.
I know.
Fuck books. Real men read manga.
Yeah. Wait, what? You got him. You told him. But I wouldn't even like. This is a dangerous thing to say because it kind of betrays certain things. But I want a complete change of hands, but I also wouldn't necessarily want all of the old like lot restricted from ever writing an episode. If you know what I mean. Showrunner should be a complete refresh, but I wouldn't. Yes, okay. Now that's I know that is obviously true, but ideally I would still like the Moffat to be able to write an episode, if you know what I mean. But I know that you kind of need to you need to dedicate.
But
you
let Moffat in, then Chibnall suddenly writing one.
Oh no! You know what we've never had though, literally, and this tells me something about Davies, by the way. Davies has never written an episode for has he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a hog.
He's never written one for under Moffat's era or Chibnall's era. Huh? I think he does.
In all
have
fairness,
a
he was
ego.
kind of done though. That's the thing.
I know. And so was Moffat, but also obviously Moffat came back now to write some. Just don't like Chibnall. I mean, but by the way, everyone, just thank God we never had Mark Gatiss as the showrunner.
Mark Gatiss. If we had Mark Gatiss, we would have an entire season set in like Victorian England.
You know what's annoying about not annoying, but he's actually a very good actor. He's in Mission Impossible. He's actually in the newest one, like a lot, and he's a perfectly good actor. But Doctor Who episodes are terrible.
Yeah, oversaturated.
Yeah. Oh, Neil Gaiman's are so much better. You know what's annoying? Neil Gaiman actually does. He actually does have a genuinely very, good bit of advice that I kind of am going to keep, despite, activities, because it's obviously not relevant to that, right? It's a generic bit of advice.
Yeah, dude, who gives a shit?
But it's the idea of doing.
As long as it isn't, you can sexually harass women and get away with it.
It's the idea.
You can really listen to it just fine.
It's the concept of doing your second draft is the process of making it look like you knew what you were doing from the start. I think that's actually an idea that has brought me around to second drafts concept. Yo, look at that peak Ultron healing.
People have flipped on Ultron. People are beginning to think he's actually incredibly strong. Well, he didn't make incredibly strong, but basically he kind of breaks a lot of people's combos just by the passive healing thing. Like Spider-Man's basically unusable with the Ultron on the team.
Hell yeah. I love invalidating Spider-Man.
Yeah, you do actually. But that's not relevant. The point is, I regret getting back into Doctor Who. To be honest.
You mean including watching old Who?
No.
So you just mean watching the new stuff? Because that's not really.
I mean, when we started talking, I we did that fucking. We did the tier list essentially. I watched everything up to Whittaker, and there was a bright side, which was Capaldi's era. I never watched Capaldi's era. There's a lot of gold in there. I was happy to watch that. The negative side was Whittaker's era, even though that was still better than I was led to believe.
Yes, I would agree.
It is. It's still not inherently worth watching. Like,
how rude.
You could,
right.
I think there is immense merit in watching, and even though I'm not a huge fan of it, season 1 of the revival all the way to probably Day of the Doctor. Yeah.
I've done that before.
Even though
that was my previous watch through before when I watched everything 2 years ago. I would do. I think I literally done it more than once as well. Actually, I hadn't done it this way. What I had done before, I watched season 1 and then Smith, or series 1 then Smith. I actually have neglected Tennant before even. Obviously, I'd seen all that stuff before when I was younger, but that didn't apply to Capaldi as much. That
Because
applied
that
to
again,
Capaldi's
actually,
first
when
season.
I did that watch through, I really hadn't rewatched Tenant's era.
It'd
But,
been a long time
no,
since I've
yeah,
seen like the end
there
of
is
time,
just
for example.
it's just such a that ride is such a good one. There is so much of immense value often. Yeah, there's stinkers. There are stink, but that's TV. Right? I don't think
Oh
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
find
yeah.
the best show out there.
I
There
see
are
what you're
bad
saying with Day of
episodes.
the Doctor. I think there is as much that is actually really bittersweet because like Capaldi is fucking amazing, like genuinely.
He is
But
maybe
the
once or
era.
twice a season.
Well, no,
Like,
he's always amazing.
no, I know. I mean, like once or twice is there actually episodes worth watching? Generally, like
I think it's more than that.
season
but-
1, there was Listen and the Mummy on the Orient Express, right? Like, it's pretty much it. Maybe the first half of the finale for some reason. I think it holds a bit stronger with the whole.
I think the
Don't
whole
Promote Me
finale.
thing.
I think the finale's overall good.
Yeah. But yeah, but then just as much as there is some peak, there is like the Danny Pink Earth one where the Doctor's a janitor.
Yeah,
and
it's just
genuinely
it's bittersweet
gobshite.
because it
And
means you're technically leaving out a lot if
Sherlock.
you stop then. But I would, if someone wanted to watch Doctor Who, I would tell them the start and this is the start and the end. The start is series 1. The end is Day of the Doctor.
And it's like it's risky, but also at the same time, I do think the if Capaldi was the end.
Yeah.
Capaldi. If Capaldi was the end.
If Capaldi was the end,
I don't like, and I don't even think like I think ignore the final episode that Moffat didn't even want to write in the first place, but Jim was a prick. And literally just the Doctor dies at that end. Like after the Master.
Oh wait, hold on. Which one are you talking about? You're talking about the one with the first Doctor in
it. Yeah, ignore that episode.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I thought you were talking about
basically
the
Doctor died. The Doctor died in like the episode like prior, like the final, like against the Cybermen. That was the end of the Doctor. He died just to help people live longer. And I think you're honestly you're good.
If the show
You're
had
good.
actually
you just
ended
had an incredibly pleasant like experience.
Yeah. The problem is I'm not built like that anymore. I am very like completionist in every like thing. So if I start watching Doctor Who again, I would be compelled to go all the way through to now. It just kind of sucks.
I mean, I've had on my BBC iPlayer, I've had like modern Doctor Who. I've just had I think the episode just before the Day of the Doctor. That's just sitting there on my like to watch, and I did no desire to watch it because I think it's just downhill, like from there. Like I don't know.
What?
Oh,
You're stuck at the name of the Doctor.
kind of, yeah.
When did you get there? What are you
This-
talking?
It's just a while ago.
While ago.
That was when I was rewatching just for fun, just select episodes whenever I felt like it. I skipped through most of season 7, I think, and that's just kind of like I'm looking at it like I don't know.
Because I don't like the notion though that the time of the Doctor is anywhere close to bad. I don't think that's actually that common. Though. That's the one that.
Is that the one?
That's when he regenerates.
Which one's that?
When Smith regenerates.
No, that's true. It is.
And
honestly
it's
quite good.
It's slightly mixed, but what isn't, and this is something I was reminded of because someone just I think it's just in relation to what's happening. Someone reposted the scene, his regeneration scene. It's amazing. It's so fucking magical. And obviously Smith is a lot of that, but it's also Moffat. It's also the era. Bar is obviously there, but also there's like memories flashing through the TARDIS, like Amy. It's actually beautiful.
Yeah.
It's but it's cheesy in the best way possible. Like it's so like rich and earned and like perfectly executed and written, and it's like, it's this. Why can't it be like this? Because it can be like this. Stuff can always be like that. But sometimes it's just not. You just don't have the interest to really do their best work.
Well, that's just not true. I just have to assume that's not true, and it is never that anyone is putting any less than their best in, but that their best is completely misdirected. that's like my main like perception on like
Mm.
decisions. Like with like Deep Rock, right? Which relating to the channel we're talking about.
You're talking about season
Like when they
4.
were
You're
doing,
talking about season 4.
yeah, kind of, yeah. Like or any bad ideas they've ever had. I never doubt that they didn't put just as much effort into those bad ideas and believe just as much that those bad ideas are the best thing for them to be doing right now than the good ideas.
Well, I
right?
think when people aren't operating at 110%,
I just think that
it's
they were
when
wrong.
it's not conscious. It's
Yeah.
they're not.
Or
They don't really,
like,
it's usually when out complacency. Like, I think Davies does think he's trying, but I also don't think he's trying. I think he doesn't realise it though. I think he's complacent without realising. I think he thinks he can do no wrong. I don't think he's actively thinking that. But I do think that's how he subconsciously feels. Like, I can kind of just write anything and it's great because I'm good at writing.
Yeah, but I don't think he thinks that at all. I think he just thinks that what he wrote was good and that he's just doing his best. But it's just completely and utterly subpar compared to what came before. And I guess, there was like I guess there is a bit of an ego to the stuff he says. So there is that. Like he said, like 73 yards was like the best thing he ever wrote. Like, dude, you're fucking kidding me right now, right? Like,
I don't
like
know. Hold on,
73
I
yards.
don't have a problem with people saying
73
stuff
yards
like
gets
that.
diffed by like 50% of fucking.
No, oh, it
yeah.
doesn't. That's silly. No, 50% of what? Wait, what are we talking about? Of this era?
Like Tenant episodes.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I didn't. I thought you were talking about like Gat was.
Yeah, maybe you should let me
period.
fucking finish.
I should let you fucking
about
finish.
next time. Yeah. But yeah, no,
Okay.
I think it's just like, I don't know, dude. I just feel like their priorities are in the wrong place, generally. And I do not want to hark on the woke nonsense, in that, calling it woke nonsense, that whole argument. But I think their priorities are in the wrong place, and also that they put a lot of their priority on like representing people, right? And I don't think either is tied to each other. I just think they both exist, and that's why people think that it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
I think that their priorities are in the wrong place. They're focusing on the wrong parts of episodes, and they're not making them as good as they are.
It's
But they're
correlation,
also spending quite a lot of
causation.
effort adding, gay people, people of color, disabilities is a main big thing, right? Especially with Wishworld, right? That was a whole thing.
Oh yeah, it's like
how Conrad
look.
like literally erased
Yeah. Yeah.
Rose from existence. Like it is kind of one of those things where it's like I don't think they're the same thing. It's not bad because it's woke, but it's like it's missing something, and it is missing nothing there. Like in that area, it's completely full, and it's like, okay, I don't blame people for thinking that there's clearly priorities. Like, oh, they care more about wokeness than quality. When I don't think that's true. I just think they're good at inclusion, and they're bad at being good. Like, I think it's just kind of a separate problem. That they are more competent at writing well-realized LGBTQ plus. I don't know disabilities in there. You get what I mean? Like, better at writing those people in the story than they are writing a good story. I think that is my point, and it's not tied together.
Well, yeah, I think Davies is
just
better at
separate
writing
things.
gay people than he is at writing women.
He is very good at gay people.
He's good at gay people.
He is good at gay. I overthrew. I forgot to cue.
You fool.
Yeah, and obviously that's because of who he is, right? He is a gay man, and he likes the cock.
Whoa.
I do also actually find it really interesting as to the implication of Rogue moving forward.
Yeah, I was going to bring up
Because-
Rogue just in a moment.
Yeah, like it's just kind of like I really only saw Rogue as a, this. I didn't think it would be like a River Song character who was going to carry over from many different doctors.
Oh god, imagine if he regenerated into River. I'm not saying that like I'm not saying like oh imagine. Wouldn't be better though. It would have been more interesting. Yeah, Rogue. I mean, you know that it was an amazing, first of all, amazing special effects and acting work on everyone's part.
I forgot about that.
You know that,
It was so
but do you know
bad.
what the crazy thing is? Do you know
Where's
what's,
the
do you know what's
Digimon?
crazy about that? That was filmed. That was filmed in like the same like production block as like period as when they filmed the episode Rogue. That wasn't like snapped together last minute.
The battle starts in 5.
Like that had been sitting around for fucking over a year. That had been
And that it was literally the worst green screen ever. Like that is just straight up. That was like Heimdall's son fucking here.
Yeah, I know what that is. I mean, I think a lot of people who haven't seen that movie know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess what do you expect, Disney, but still. Jesus Christ.
Really, like, wow, great work for everyone. Because Jonathan Groff is expensive. I can tell you that. He's an
Jonathan
actual.
who?
That's Rogue.
Gronk, did you say?
Sorry. What?
Jonathan Gronk, that's what I heard.
Jonathan Groff.
Okay, close, but not quite.
It's close, but it's like very different vibe.
Yes. If there was a fucking name Gronk in Doctor Who, I don't
Well, I mean,
think I'd be
that's
able to recover.
not his name. He's Rogue, like the actor. He is actually definitely expensive. That's unlike John Barrowman at the time. I don't know what John Barrowman's able to charge nowadays. I don't know what, probably not that much. Although I know he's got like a cameo and it's like expensive. He's one of those people, you know, people with
He's just
expensive
gonna keep cameoing
people with
in Doctor
expensive
Who for the rest of
cameos.
the time.
Unlike Sylvester McCoy, was as a cameo, but it's like very cheap. Which I respect the fuck out of. He's me stuck doing that. I was literally so a thing because I unfortunately I follow like a bunch of like Torchwood accounts.
Unfortunately.
It is unfortunate. But it's like, oh god, it's like it's so painful having like your favourite character being played by the worst person ever. Yeah, I don't think it's quite that bad, but it's still like I can see why it's frustrating. Anyone in that position.
He was just a bit of a dickbag, right?
He was like a bit of a he's a sex
he was around
pest.
naked.
Not like a sex
Yeah.
threat. I think those that should be a term because sex pest is not like insane. It is mainly like I don't know, like being like naked, and stuff like weird shit. The problem is he hasn't apologized for it either. He's very like, oh, it was okay at the time, so I'm not going to actually apologise. He says weird shit. He's like, oh, I understand it's not okay now, but it was at the time. Even though it wasn't. Clearly. There
Well,
would
the
have been a
thing
problem.
but at the same time, isn't it like, you know, fella, Scottishman, who is banned,
Who?
first Doctor of the Revival.
Eccleston. He's not Scottish.
Yeah. Didn't he... What?
No, he's just Northern.
Oh.
Not
all the
Scottish.
same.
John Barrowman's Scottish.
I'm sorry. Didn't they, his whole thing was that behind the sets they were a fucking mess, right? That like it was kind of just, it was really shoddy, and like everyone kind of, you know, I don't even know the specifics, but I'm sure we've gotten into them in excessive detail.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so he probably was just allowed to do it because
Yeah. Well, apparently
Maybe he's
the other
probably liked
guy's
it.
worse. I don't remember his name actually, but Mickey, who's actually far worse.
yeah, he was a sex threat.
Yeah, yeah. There's pest and threat different, and that's awkward because that means like that team of 4 are kind of like they're 50-50. They're kind of
Yeah,
tainted
and
in a way.
and 2 of them have come back to play the Doctor.
Get ready.
Eccleston hasn't. I was talking about literally I was talking about Boomtown specifically, where it's
Right.
Eccleston and then those 3.
Yeah, I don't think about Eccleston.
No.
It's weird how there's a sex threat and a sex pest, and it was the dudes who
sex
complained about
symbol.
them. They got blacklisted.
4, 3.
Isn't that interesting?
It's
How the
Eccleston,
BBC
sex
protects
symbol.
like evil.
They definitely don't. Well, they do, but they don't protect those 2 now. They're not.
Yeah,
They're not. They're
because
not.
they got caught
clamouring
protecting so
to
much
hire
evil
John
that they've
Barrowman.
had to stop doing it.
But I'm not even sure John. Actually, I think John Barrowman has done audio, but it's Tortured, but. But there's that. It's a while ago now, but there is like this interview. It's like a con interview, like a Comic Con thing. It's like a panel with Billy Piper and Christopher Eccleston, and he's like, there's a point where Eccleston just kind of just goes on a rant about like the show, about Doctor Who, and he starts like listing from a bunch of people they should fire.
Yeah.
Davies obviously being one of them, and he gets an applause, and even like Billy Piper sort of like slowly like claps as well a little
laughing.
bit. Laughing
that
along.
clip was in the Too Fad video because he fucking agrees with him at this point in time.
but
Like, he's
so,
had enough.
Yeah, I kind of yeah. I mean, I guess we do. I guess we do now. But also, it's not that was a while ago, and I think Eccleston probably doesn't feel differently. But he did. There was something he said later on, which was like he actually likes the idea of Billy Piper playing the Doctor. He has said that, which is kind of weird. And I don't think Billy Piper's like. I don't think I blame her. I don't know. She could have said no. He's been fine.
Yeah, but I mean, she's probably loved Doctor Who, and she would love to play the Doctor, I imagine, right? Like,
probably. The annoying thing is though, because like they offer it to like these people, and you'd even put Gatwin as a bit. I'm almost bringing people back though. You offer it to like Tennant and Billy Piper. Like this is a role that an up-and-coming actor would take without question, and they just feel the need to fall back on. Like, maybe not anymore. That might change now, but it's the Doctor. It's like James Bond. It's like if you're a new actor, you take that role. You know, but they're just sort of giving it to people who kind of don't need it. And you would give it to someone who's like new and like has energy, like. They're gonna treat that very sacredly because it's like their first big role. That's like that does something I think to someone. Like you're gonna take that seriously. I think that's Smith arguably was like that.
yeah, Smith walked in.
He got the fuck in. It's incredible. He's amazing. Why she come back? No, I don't think I want to come back at all.
I don't think Smith coming back would magically make the show good.
No, absolutely not.
They need. I don't think the show I want can exist.
Probably.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think it was an era gone past now. Not that I think it's like too woke for modern day. Like can't get away with the jokes Moffat used to do, but it's just like priorities are different nowadays. I think. Like I don't know. I don't think the Doctor can be badass anymore. I don't think. I don't think he's allowed to be.
I don't think they know how to make him because he literally fucking he shoots Omega with a gun. Huh?
Yeah, and it sucked.
It sucked. That's not badass. That's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not how the Doctor's ever been called. I don't know.
Like,
Even
the Doctor just grabbed a regular gun and shot like a lamp on the ceiling, and it's one of his best fucking moments in the entire show. That's just kind of shit they were working with back then, right? Like the fucking end of the first part of the Angel two-parter.
Oh yeah.
Where like there's one thing that you should never put in a trap, and it's like, what is it? Like me, and then he shoots the gun.
As
it's
much
like,
as much I do really like Gatwa, but if you look at previous sort of iterations, and I was going to come back to Moffat a lot, but it's like the amount of depth that you can give to the Doctor, even in a Doctor Light. Obviously, this is a pseudo Doctor Light, but like Flatline. Like that comes back around to having a really good like Doctor arc almost, where like at the end and he's like, I'm the man who stops the monsters, like that stuff, and
yeah,
the delivery.
But
of
it's
that.
also like even like Clara kind of works for him as well.
3-piece McNuggets. What's going on?
It's like Clara is like a normal person who has to put on what the Doctor has to put on, right? She has to save everyone, even if they're scum. She has to let people die to keep everyone else alive. Like the stuff that the Doctor does casually, she's really struggling with. And obviously eventually she tries, dealing with it and stuff like that. But like,
remember that piece of shit guy who's like,
yeah.
His boss. He plays a very nice old man in Andor. Very nice.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that he can be nice as well as he can be scum. Good to have range.
It is. It is. That's literally the definition of David Bradley, who played the first Doctor in like the recent stuff. He's like the caretaker, like Hogwarts, Harry Potter films, and he has such this grumpy old man demeanor, but he can also be like a really nice, like cheerful, jolly fellow. I like him, David Bradley. He's been in a lot. Obviously, he was also Solomon Kane. Is that his name from the Dinosaurs and the Spaceship?
Yeah.
Which is a good reuse of an actor. As in, that was not the problem with that episode, by the way. I think bringing in the first Doctor and recasting and doing that good a job is actually very cool.
Yeah, the problem is that the episode didn't need or want to exist.
No. It's why, like, it's crazy that in the reality war, it was Jodie Whittaker coming back was actually like a really bright spot.
Yeah.
And that's because bringing doctors back just as
Even though
doctors
it literally makes no sense,
is
right?
nice. Not really. No.
Like she
no.
literally was just like, I'm just here, just to kind of hang out.
Yeah, stuff like that happens sometimes though. Actually, that's making me remember.
It's like the beginning of Capaldi's, where Smith was like calling.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like,
because
just kind of
that
like...
was really weird for me because I do not remember that from when I was younger. That moment, and so that hit me really weirdly when I watched it for the first time when I watched through the whole show. Like, because I felt like I was crossing over into like a new era by watching Capaldi because I really hadn't before, and yet this Smith's like on the phone. Clara,
It's like, hey man.
It feels weird. I like it, but it feels weird.
Like your childhood calling to Back to Your Future, being like, hey,
Childhood
give us a try.
Yeah, exactly what it was.
Yeah, well, Smith didn't call me this time around, so I ain't fucking liking it.
You know, he was playing chess though. Cowboy hat.
He did. Which, you know, it's one of those other things with, like, you know, Clara's like throughout his entire timeline. So what's going on?
Yeah,
It's like Clara.
what's the deal with Anita?
Yeah, it's like Clara and Anita, like the amount of characters who were just pitted throughout his entire timeline.
Anita's such a weird one. That's also a Moffat. Great Joy to the World. And that almost makes me feel like he wrote that part of Joy to the World and not the rest almost. Obviously, I know he wrote the whole thing, but like, because that was the good part of that Christmas special. Was the stuff in the hotel.
It is good that it paid off. I do actually think that I'm glad that Joy to the World or Anita in Joy to the World had like an ending. She was one of the few actual characters that you like. Like,
yeah.
But
yeah, well, Davey still felt the need to make her a mother. It's like you think everyone has to like end up married or like, you know, pregnant. Like Martha and Mickey getting married. Going way back.
Well, he does seem to be a fan of like everyone has to have a happy ending, right?
It tells me that he was raised in a very traditional and progressive household. I think that's true as well. I think his parents were together, I think, the whole time, and they were very nice to him as well, even like gay in a weird time. So I think he actually probably has a very nice, like very from his own perspective, like a kind view of like traditional roles. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's misogynism. I just don't think he's inherently resentful of the idea of straight people having children. I think that's what it is.
I mean, he's like a big cat. I didn't even hear you all. He's like he's a big character in the business. He's not like he's been blacklisted either because of like who he is. Like, all things considering, he seems to have had it pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is odd, considering he shouldn't have.
He's clearly got something going on because he wrote one of like the first like prominent like gay like cast shows, and then even though I don't think it was, I think a lot of the actors weren't necessarily that, but it was. I think the show was actually called Queers. I think. I hope so, because otherwise it's not the best word to use out of turn. But he decided very like early on to like be a really front run that from like a press perspective. It's like I'm gonna take basically the fall for this. And all these actors who aren't actually necessarily in this community, or even if they are, they're not writing it. I want to be out there on like the front lines promoting this show. Like, yeah, I think Davies has got a lot of merit as a person and writer. So it's like that's why it's a shame that doesn't always stay that way. I think he has as a person. I don't think he's a bad person. I think that's ridiculous. And that's why I don't like how some people talk about this kind of, you know. And obviously these are extreme people, and you're very rarely. The chance of you meeting someone in real life who like thinks Russell T Davies should die, what he done to do, not very likely. Those people are very online people, but they do exist, and I find it quite frustrating that some people have that view of art where it's like. You can I think it's okay to feel that way somewhat about the really corporate people that ruining your stuff because
People who kill
because those are bad
like, anyone
people.
who stopped that. Like,
Yeah. But
lawsuit
Davies
thing,
is
like-
is still a person who is still a creative person, and he still cares about writing and making cool stuff, even if he's not as good as he used to be. And in some cases, that can be quite destructive to something that people really like. You know, like. There's some pretty like somber things about the show, but I don't hate Russell T Davies. Not how I operate. I don't think it's how you operate either, really.
No, I just hate Bella. I forgot his name. Hulk.
No. Oh, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I just hate Mark Ruffalo. He gets all of my hate in the world.
He's
And
sort
it
of
sounds
like
like he's
taking
going to ruin the next Spider-Man movie. Which
He
pretty
is
cool.
like Jesus, isn't he? Like in like that way, he's taking on the sins. Like
Yeah,
you're
the
being
sins
channeled
of,
into
like,
him. All your hatred.
everything I hate. It could just go straight into him.
Mark Ruffalo is the Doctor.
I think I would kill him.
You would just set out. You would just.
I think that'd be it. I think I would know that this is what my life has been working towards.
It's like Imagine Dragons like making a Halo song.
I like Imagine Dragons, so not that.
That's not really me. That's Chris Reagan. He's got a massive problem. That bleeds over times.
Wait, that's
I've
not
been losing
Imagine
sleep.
Dragons.
Oh, that's One Republic. That's good. They're
Yeah.
good.
I was thinking radioactive.
Awful songs.
Radioactive.
It's not that bad. It's just
Those
not
two
good.
songs were like 80% of the music I listen to right now.
Yeah. I did listen to Radioactive. But that's Doctor Who, baby. Actually, there was one thing that was kind of cool, but I mean, who knows what if it means anything now? Which is the composer. Well, obviously, we know that Murray Gold's leaving. Known it for a while.
Murray Gold's leaving.
Yeah, that's been the case for a while. That
I
he
think
would
we could
leave after
admit-
Gatwa. That's been the case for a while.
I'm pretty sure that Murray Gold, like, I don't know, he isn't him inherently, right? Like,
No, he
obviously
has
is
been,
him. He
but
has
for
been him.
Smith,
But he doesn't.
fucking
He
hell.
doesn't need to be him.
Like-
And Tennant, obviously.
There's a lot of great talent stuff. There's some good Capaldi stuff, but he pulled up his pants for Smith. I don't know why. I don't know how, but Smith is amazing, and so all the companions and most of the episodes are actually really great. But he's on another level in that era that makes me wonder how much legwork the music's doing, because it is ridiculous how good the music is during Smith's era. It is ridiculous. Like, this is some of the best score I've ever heard. It probably is the best TV show score ever composed, in my opinion. But so the composer for
Andy Rake.
The War Between Land and the Sea is Lorne Balfe,
Andy Rake.
who is a proper like composer who's done like a lot of stuff, like high profile stuff, including Mission Impossible and stuff like that. And so the mere idea of him doing the main show is cool. I'm not saying that's likely, but he's hatched in some way now, even if it's for a spin-off. I think Murray Gold did Torchwood. It's just a mere idea, and obviously they will need a new composer. But that would be awesome, especially because I do feel like some of the best stuff, like what Murray Gold did for like Smith. I think some of that has a lot of Mission Impossible like sort of inspiration or stuff like that. Very like bombastic.
Very action.
It's very bombastic and fun at the same time. Like very bombastic, but not like overly serious either.
These dudes do not know how to do the team up. They do not have that fit.
Oh,
on.
that one. You got the shit on. Ooh,
Yeah, he got that.
good work, Magneto. That's probably about all we got in the can for Lucky You. I guess we
Fucking
did
hell.
obviously rate the seasons or like tier them, and I think we get about like these three. So I guess the specials and then season 1 and 2. A tier list sense, probably slightly cynical, but it means we wouldn't have to ever come back to that tier list. I don't know. I don't know. I think they are very consistent. You know what's weird? I do still think there's something to season 2. It's like the first episodes are actually similar, like, especially the second episode. Like Devil's Cord and Lux are quite similar in a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
Both are the Formula Future
But
past, rather.
that's like what
with a
season
God
2
twist.
had. Season 2 had such a better start. The Robot Rebellion still wasn't great, but it's better than Space Babies, and then Lux was better than Devil's Cord. Obviously, I really like Boom, but The Well was better than Boom, probably.
Yeah.
But then it's like then it becomes less clear cut. It's Lucky Day and 73 Yards.
I'd say it's fairly similar. So
Probably pretty
Ruby
close.
focused.
And then the story of the engine and Dot and Bubble. That's where season 2 kind of loses out. Although, obviously, it's kind of cool that you have
It's something that
Bubble
looked a
is
lot
like-
worse than it was, but ended up being quite good.
yeah,
both
story of the
times.
engine was still pretty good, but I think it was worse out of the two. Then Interstellar Song Contest and Rogue.
Oh.
I know where we stand. I know where we stand. But then overall, the finales. I think I'm saying that season 2 is.
Empire of Death.
I think I'm saying that season 2 is better up to this point. But yeah, the finales. I did prefer Empire. I think Empire of Death was actually. I think Empire of Death was the best of the 4 finale episodes. Genuinely.
Is that part 1 or part 2?
I'm talking about part 2. It's part 2.
Yeah, I think.
I think just the idea of the universe literally having been like, it is very post-apocalyptic, like that kind of thing. Literally out like the 4 parts of the finales is probably the best. And then
I think it felt
so-
really different as well.
but out of like
that was
RTD2, I don't know if I necessarily think that Wild Blue Yonder is the best
30
episode.
seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Sure about that. For me, it probably is the Well.
I didn't think about Wild Blue Yonder. I think I need to rewatch it. If it holds up for the second time watching, I think it is.
That is actually a very valid one to just watch. Well, I think. Remember though, you got to remember it's got Wilf at the end, and you need to maybe try and
Alright, never mind. It's the best episode.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to say. Try not to do that. Try not.
Yeah.
But why not though?
that's-
Why not do that? It's Wilf.
I cried.
I teared up.
I fucking cried.
I didn't cry. Pussy. I teared up. Same thing. It's the same thing.
I have emotions, right? And I often use them for evil, like anger. But sometimes they come out for not quite evil, but I wouldn't necessarily say good either, in sadness.
Was that sadness? Well,
It was, yeah.
It's somber, but somber doesn't mean bad. Well, actually,
Like-
no. You know what? That's not really what I mean. What I actually meant to say was sad doesn't mean bad. It's literally like I think it's actually might be Gandalf's best line. At the very end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and like Frodo is like sailing off with the elves, and then Gandalf turns to the other hobbits and says, "I will not say don't cry, for not all tears are an evil." I think that's beautiful. Like sometimes you gotta cry, man. You gotta cry.
Yeah, my favorite line from Gandalf was, "I'm Gandalf. Look at me." Woo-yee!
I don't know why. I don't. You went into that without a plan, and it was so like
I don't know what gives you that idea.
you didn't even you went in that without a plan, and it didn't pay off. Like there was nothing to gain
I
from
hoped
doing
it
that
would.
spontaneously.
I hoped it would have come together. Well, I was trying to think of when he like is like weirdly like
There's
human.
when he hits his head on the beam in Bilbo's house. Oh, like just that's your favorite quote, Gandalf quote, which is real. It's another one of those things. It wasn't meant to happen. Well, you know, it's not a big
It wasn't?
mistake. No, well, you know, it's not a huge mistake. It's just him hitting his head. Like, it's not like, you know, ruining the script or anything. But that's just he just happens to do that and carried on, and so it's the take that they use. I love that shit. I think it's simple, and I think it is generally how actors should be. But when they
should always run with it.
as long as they're not dead, they should be able to complete. They should finish the take. You know. Well, see, there's some exceptions to that. Like, I wouldn't expect Ian McKellen to break his foot and carry on with the scene, like Tom Cruise. Even though Tom Cruise is now the same age as Ian McKellen was when he first played
dude
Gandalf.
when he kicked the helmet.
Yeah, that's the. Oh, do you know something? That's the only reason I want to get married, so I can watch that movie with my house and point that out.
You know you can watch movies with other people, right?
No, you have to be married.
Well, I think you do think that because I don't think you like watching films with other people.
No, I really don't. Only in cinemas. It's the only time I like watching films with people. Because they have to shut the fuck up.
What if there was like a really big TV in like a living room?
Well, there is. And, well, last year, me and my dad watched the Lord of the Rings films together over the course of an amount of time. On the big TV in the living room. And I overall did not enjoy the experience.
I'm glad.
He fell asleep quite a lot. And I think we sometimes didn't even finish, like, because of how the extended editions, they're split into, for the Lord of the Rings, they are split into 2 discs each, but sometimes we wouldn't even finish one of the discs. Like, I knew we wouldn't finish a whole film ever in one go, but sometimes we didn't even finish, like, a whole disc. It's like, I don't like it. And I couldn't actually, like feel the emotions as much as I normally would, like, sort of, like, the more climatic parts, because I feel more inhibited being next to someone. Like, would you, like, if you were watching the Wild Blue Yonder, like, in the living room with your mum, would you have
Sure.
cried when Will showed up?
Probably. I would have held back. I would have tried to, but I probably would have failed.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You would have wanted to hold back.
Like when I watched Guardians on my own and really liked it, and then we watched it again on Sunday, and I tried not to cry in the end, but I still did.
Which one? Wait, you mean 3?
3. Yeah. I think it's the only one that they really went for those kind of emotions.
Done.
Yep.
The gun is cocked.
They're gunning me down.
The last thing that made me cry. Probably the Holocaust.
When I found out how hard we meant to have it.
When I found out that
That's
period.
when I last cried. That's just so... I can't fucking... Whoever's in charge of periods is gonna hear from my fucking lawyer. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna send them a knuckle sandwich. How could God do this to our women?
Yeah, to be these hands, bitch. I know. Yeah, so overall, don't watch Doctor Who.
We'll
but
do.
watch Doctor
We
Who. Just
can,
don't watch this Doctor Who.
we would be able to like put together a solid recommendation. I think. For what parts to watch.
If you want the highlight reel, watch season 5.
Watch a highlight reel on YouTube.
That too.
No, don't do that.
But if you want like one season, there's like the entire team back here.
Spider-Man.
If you want one season that really does it all, says it all, gives you the best in one season, season 5.
But is that a bit too much for like a new viewer?
What do you mean?
Does well, they won't know who certain people are,
What?
like River.
Season 5. And?
I'm not even saying you're wrong, but I think you're just saying because it's like the highest quality overall. I don't think it's actually the best. Obviously,
No,
it's
I
not.
think it's
It's
the
not an
cleanest
entry
start.
point.
It is easily the best entry point.
Wait, isn't? How can it be? Make any sense?
I mean, how can
You
it
said
be?
Series 5, right?
Yeah, Tenants,
Oh,
Smiths.
Smith's first. Oh, I sometimes get confused because I forget like season one, like series 1, in the sense that I still feel like sometimes I still feel like it's only 3 series Smith because 3 is the normal. I'm kind of am forgetting Eccleston.
Right. So you thought I was thinking Matt
Series 6. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, sorry, Series 5. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. That's good,
mean,
'cause
I
normally it's
think,
the other way around with this kind of shit.
I think Series 1 and 5 are the options. I think
Yeah.
they're the 2 options. I wouldn't say Series 2. I wouldn't say Tenant's first season because it's bad. Or it certainly opens bad. You might think, oh, it's David Tennant. It must be, but no, not a good starting point. Unless you hate men, then you can do Series 11. There are still elements of like that I like. I like the fam. You know,
I like the fam too.
I like the fam. Well, I mean,
I
should expound
I
on
like
that more.
everyone but Yaz.
I should expound on that more. I like Jodie Whittaker. I think. I don't dislike her. I don't think my overall opinion of her is negative at all. And I mean, her appearance in like the reality ball was something. Because it's like, yeah, this doesn't even feel like. It actually feels like she's also. It's a short moment, but I guess she's written well. Yes. You laugh
This
about.
fucking Charlotte Witch has tried to ult like 3 times and been cancelled by us. Oh, it's
Alright, let's wrap this up then. Okay, so that's Doctor Who. That might be Doctor Who.
yeah. You might have just witnessed the end of like the UK's biggest export culturally.
Yeah.
Like our biggest thing. It's over. Hell, some people could say it's been over for years. Most of those people would be their biggest fucking fans of the show. So yeah.
But the point is, like, this. That was more conceptual. This we're not sure that this isn't like for real. We can't be sure. It might be. It's possible that this is actually it.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
I don't know how to really gauge that kind. I don't think I can really say whether it's more less likely to properly count. It's far from impossible.
Those who oppose me shall be left to drown in my way.
Anyway,
Too long.
We'll see you again with Knives Out 3. We'll see you again.
When we write up and cast Doctor Who season 3 or season
1. 0?
Yeah, 1 again.
0? Well, we can't. It's like that guy. Oh shit! I need to pick a character, don't I? It's like when Nando V Movies did like Harry Potter like recasting. And he cast everyone except the kids. So obviously that meant also the main 3 characters as well. Because it's like they should be unknowns. And that's much easier to say, I think, for child actors though, because who the hell knows who any child actors are really?
I mean, considering how Harry Potter is definitely a credit to many like actors and actresses modern day, right? Like how big Emma Watson, like, and all of them are. Like you can't You can't disagree with the
maybe not
notion that
Rupert
it should
Grint.
be used for the next generation.
Maybe not Ron Weasley. A lot of people are saying
Okay.
like how surprising it is that he's not black. The new series.
Because he's ginger. How the fuck would you do that?
Tyler, that is literally a joke, a trope of Hollywood. Is recasting redheads as black people.
I guess that's true. Actually, I don't know that. Is that a thing?
Yes.
Why?
Don't know. Because,
As a redhead, I'm insulted by this and will cancel Hollywood.
how are you going to do that?
I don't know. Same way everyone else does it. Kill someone.
You need to stop implying that you want to. You should stop saying things like that. You've already threatened Mark Ruffalo.
I think I'm just gonna kill Ruffalo.
Okay,
And then
that's
blame it on their lack of
quite
wokeness
direct.
for ginger people.
Blame it on the lack of wokeness for ginger people.
That's exactly what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was so ridiculous. It bared repeating. Like, you guys hearing this?
You guys hearing this?
You guys hearing this? Hey, Jay
You
Leno.
guys hearing this?
Love Jay Leno. Jay Leno is.
No.
You might. You've got a massive chin.
Okay, yeah, I do actually. I mean, the word rang a bell, but then the picture got tied to the face when you said that.
I love that. Got a giant chin. Oh yeah, God. I know that. It is a large chin. Yeah, even though One Piece is somehow coming out then. Well, actually, I suppose I did think the next Lives Out movie would be a bit sooner. I know it was filmed a while ago.
What?
That's it's got a release date. That's what I'm saying. It's
I haven't
Well-
actually seen that. I've only seen Chopper.
12th of December. Chopper. Well, here's the thing about Chopper.
I don't like him.
There. You know why?
Just generally.
I mean, you don't like Chopper. You don't like the.
It's one of those CGI things where it's like, it doesn't sit right.
Now, this is a really stupid fact of these kind of things. These kind of things always look worse in promotion.
She's also voiced by Leica, right? He's voiced. He is voiced by the voice actress who did the dog in Guardians 3. I'm pretty sure.
No.
Well, she was in Guardians 3 for something.
I'll
So
look
what
into
was it? Look it up right now.
But they actually fucked up technically. I think, in a weird way. I think they probably did iterations of the design, but I think Chopper is definitely meant to have whites in his eyes.
Whites in his eyes.
Yeah, he's just got
Oh, it's
purely
just-
black eyes. Yeah, but he had
Just whatever reindeers.
human fruit. I think that's a deliberate feature because he ate that fruit. Why he has whites? Nice, not
That's
they're not
true.
just
The
completely black.
humanness and the human fruit.
And they even went through iterations. They were like, "This looks really weird. We probably shouldn't do this. It's just not." That can happen. Or it was actually an oversight. So it was a reindeer. It was kind of like a reindeer. Well, I'm really curious, like what like other forms might look like.
Yeah.
Probably not great. I mean, this stuff is like really difficult to do. Although even though the actress is doing, or has done that, facial capture. Not overall motion capture, but for the face. Which is weird. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Go find this person.
Just went to chase down 2 white women, and as I turned the corner to beat the shit out of them, fucking the Punisher pulled up and kicked the shit out of me.
She was you obviously were right. Was in Guardians 3. Not like that, but she's
Because I saw that. In
she's
the background,
apparently a rabbit. There's a rabbit, I think it's one of Rocket's
Oh.
friends. I must be.
Oh yeah.
One
of the experiments.
She would have done something like that. She was also in Guardians 1 as like a random like extra, basically.
Okay.
It's very James Gunn that he does that. She was also in the
But
Suicide
yeah,
Squad.
just the
She was in the
picture of her
Suicide.
was-
Do you remember? Do you remember the Suicide Squad? That random moment with the secretary, who is like such a ridiculous moment, where she's like really scantily dressed. Secretary walks in. Do you remember this?
No.
I've met pods of dolphins.
She is very hot.
You're gay. Oh. The duality of man.
Yeah, that was something I noticed. It's like, really, you got the Chopper's voice actress to be the hottest fucker in the verse.
What are you talking about? Taz Skylar.
I know. I have a man crush on Taz Skylar. He's like the only celebrity I follow on Instagram.
I know. No, it's not weird. It shouldn't be weird. It is. It's actually. It is because it's actually abnormal, like frequency-wise, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah, well.
But is that because of him or is it because of Sanji? Well, obviously it's because of Sanji.
Oh, it's definitely Sanji.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but originally it is, but is there a way that you wouldn't have followed the actor playing Sanji? Could they have been like unappealing enough?
Oh yeah, sure. I think he's just very like good and interesting. If you know what I mean. Like he lives pretty fucking hard. Like like because of following him, you just see that one day he's skydiving, the next day he's fucking like mountain climbing, the next day he's fucking sumo wrestling.
I mean, he does.
Like, and like that, all three things I have seen him do, like literally. Like,
He does
like,
kickboxing for training,
Sanji, yeah.
correct?
Yeah. He does every martial art, but that one I think specifically for Sanji.
Power cannot be quelled.
He does every martial art.
Well, I know he's like tried all of them.
The
Because
thing
once
is,
again, yeah, he went
there's a lot.
literally sumo wrestling once.
yeah, he's definitely not. Definitely doesn't have the look you'd picture sumo wrestler because he's not a sumo wrestler because he's tried it. Sumo wrestling's cool. Sumo wrestlers are cool.
I'm a bit careful. This is very much Penny's area.
Fuck!
I just
I wanted to drop a fucking nuke on her head while you were doing that, and I just accidentally threw it into the fucking balcony. Now get some premium Royals game. Oh, I'll go. We'll see you again. Bye.